Along with Jay Milne, I'm Reid Wilkins, and we are your father. Oilers cannot hang on against the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll break down the game and what seems to continue to ail the team as they fall back below 500 with a record of 6-7-1. Next game at Vancouver on Saturday. We'll have coverage here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show will be at 7 p.m. with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, and then they'll be on after that game Saturday night with their postgame show. But a game in which the Oilers, I think, to be fair, did some good things, but made some pretty massive errors, and they continue to be unable to score in general anyway. I know a couple games they've got to 4 or 5, but offense continues to be a problem. Special teams continue to be a problem. We'll break that down today. We'll hear the latest from Oilers practice today. Matthias Janmark did not practice. Head coach Chris Knobloch says he is day-to-day. Luke Gazdic is going to join us in about 15 minutes. He's on the Nielsen Show and on this show, one or the other, every week here on Edmonton Sports Talk, and we always enjoy talking to Luke. Matt Dunnigan from TSN will talk CFL, big division finals coming up on Saturday. We're going to have a PBR bull rider in studio. That's going to be a blast. And we'll visit the U of A with Barnaby Craddock, the head coach of the Golden Bears basketball team. I got to appreciate the nasties. A few of them are already asking about career day, which we will get to. And we'll have plenty of Oilers stuff along the way. But just to start here, Jay, give me your general impressions of last night's loss to the Golden Knights.
Yeah, substandard. It's just, it seemed like they were adrift at sea at times, and ultimately couldn't hold it down defensively, and it cost them the game.
There continues to be something off with the team.
Yes.
It's like they got a bit of a hitch. I do not think they're terrible. But, I mean, the record is quite mediocre. We're approaching 20% of the season, and then shortly after that, we're going to be at the quarter point of the season or one quarter of the way in. We're going to be at American Thanksgiving, which is usually a significant demarcation point in terms of who makes the playoffs and who doesn't, though I know last year they weren't in the playoffs at U.S. Thanksgiving and did make the playoffs. Mistakes, just imprecise execution. And, we get it every day, Jay. I've been getting it for now 11 and plus seasons. Let's blame this guy. This guy is to blame. The goalie's to blame. The defenseman is to blame. And I get that, and we're going to talk about some players specifically throughout the day, of course, because there are some players who were quite visible in some errors last night. But I said this to you earlier when we were talking in the bullpen. There's a guy skating wide open towards your net. I don't care whose man he is. Someone take him. Okay? First goal. We know there are a couple players on the ice. Bottom line is the most dangerous guy on the ice got open. Somebody take him. Late in the game, Noah Hannafin. Good defenseman, good scoring defenseman. Right down the center of the ice for an open shot from the slot. Somebody take him. Oh, is that my guy? I don't know. I guess not. Oh, he scored. Take him. I'm going to ask you something here. I know it's a different sport. You played safety in football at a fairly high level. If a guy was getting behind you to be wide open in the end zone, did you say to yourself, that's Reggie's guy. I got to stay up here and cover the 7-yard out? Or did you think, my goodness, if that guy catches the pass, it's a touchdown. Perhaps I should accompany him as he's on his route.
Well, to be honest, Reggie was always a liability.
Right.
So I had to cover his butt a lot. But no, I mean, it just didn't seem like there was any urgency. If someone's streaking down the field and you have to abandon whatever's in front of you and go try and take care of that, because that is the biggest threat. Jack Eichel skating through the heart of your defense and seemingly not noticing that and letting him, the best player on the ice, at that time, go right to the net. It just was absurd. Now, I was guest hosting today on Two Guys and a Goalie, and Cass broke it down a bit where he said that potentially some of the blame could fall on Ekholm. Some of the blame, yes, could fall on Skinner. But I think that's part of the problem, is that there's not just anybody stepping up, nor is there the communication needed in those instances to make an actual hockey play as a defender.
The mistakes are mounting on individual plays. And again, I thought they did some good things last night. I thought they were by far the better team for most of the second period. And then, I would expect that the team trailing in the third, as Vegas would push in the third. And you got to find a way to survive that. And they weren't able to do it. But that's a good point. And I was driving back from the school, so I didn't get to hear much of Two Guys and a Goalie. But it's when the mistakes. I mean, hockey's a game of mistakes. Somebody's always missing a pass or leaning the wrong way or you could watch 10 seconds of a hockey game and find 10 quote unquote mistakes if you really wanted to be picky about everything. But they're mounting. Okay, maybe Ekholm could have done this. Yes, but then Skinner could have done this, then Bouchard could have done this, and then your goalie needs to help you. None of the things happened. So when there's multiple mistakes in 4 or 5 seconds, that's when they tend to wind up in here. I mean, usually you can survive one mistake on a play unless it's, a player grossly out of position. But a little mistake, if you have everybody else prepared to be in the right position and cover up, teams survive those in hockey all the time. And the Oilers are also making them in bad times of games. And they're also making offensive mistakes, which I want to talk about as well as we move along. We'll do the Oil Understood later for GCL Diesel. Because I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, because, of course, a defensive mistake winds up in your net, you're -1. But I'm going to also say some of the offensive mistakes the Oilers are making are costing them goals. And that's basically a -1 as well. So we'll dive into all that as we move along today. The Nasties, you're welcome to participate in the show by texting the EST inbox. That's 780-218-9999. You can go into the Nasty Chat on YouTube. If you are doing that, please, we implore you, give us a thumbs up as we endeavor to get to 100 thumbs every show. You can also email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Follow us on X at YEG Sports Talk, at Reid Wilkins, at Jason Milne. All right. So, yeah, we'll have plenty of Oilers discussion, some CFL stuff, some PBR Bowl. That's what I love about this show. We're going to give you a lot of fun stuff and tell a lot of great stories as we go along. I got to tell some stories today. My life story, in fact. Well, portions of my life story. I went to Holy Trinity in Mill Woods, and I spoke at Career Day. I did 4 sessions of about 50 minutes each, so I'm quite talked out for the day. No, but it was great. High school students, they signed up for the sessions voluntarily, so it was cool to interact with the students. A lot of them were sports fans or had some sort of interest in broadcasting or presentation or things like that. So that was a lot of fun. And the reason I went to this was because my friend Zip, Christian Zip, asked me to come be a speaker. A lot of people, I won't say a lot of people, but I think Chris is, we found out in the Nasty Chat, oh yeah, Chris.
Bit of a legend.
Longtime teacher. He's a couple years older than me. We went to university together. Unfortunately, he had a life-threatening battle with meningitis. How long? No, I think a little over 8 years ago. So he is a double below-the-knee amputee. He's been a spokesperson for organ transplant or organ donation because he needed a new liver eventually as part of this process. And he's just an all-around good, interesting guy. He's in the drama community. He used to DJ at the Black Dog. He's just one of those guys, when he walks into a room, everybody's happy. He's funny. He's a good storyteller. He cares about people. So Zip is, definitely one of my best and longest friends. So our off-topic topic today, hopefully this is going to be a heartwarming one because I think there'll be a little bit of doom and gloom about the hockey team. For the off-topic topic for William Huff, since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading graphics with design, print, and install all in-house for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout at 780-454-4536. The off-topic topic is, how did you meet your best friend? Or one of your, I would probably, there might be 3 or 4 people I would call my best friend, but I think you know what I mean. Somebody that's been a long-standing, very, very close friend. All right?
Like me.
You are a very good friend. I've only known you 2 months.
That's like that's a simple yes. Yes.
Longevity.
Yes,
no, I want to be accurate here. I haven't known you long enough.
This guy.
And if you consider me one of your best friends, then I would question your social circle.
Reid, you're my only friend.
Oh. Well, do we have a sponsor for the tear-jerking comment of the day? Brought to you by Kleenex, perhaps?
Yeah, right. That's an interesting one, Reid. How did you meet your best friend and why? And I obviously, it would be foolish for me to think that I only have one really close friend or what you would call a best friend. I was thinking about this, and most of my really close friends were met via 2, I guess, avenues: sports and church.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up going to the church, and I met a lot of lifelong friends through that. But then sports. Sports are probably where the largest component, group of my friends would still come from. Like, one is now my brother-in-law. He married my sister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that creep.
That is pretty creepy.
Yeah, like
is he listening
all this
now?
time.
I hope so.
I don't think so. All this time, I thought he was coming over to our house to see and visit with me.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I say that in jest. He's a lovely man and one of my best friends.
And a perv.
You said it. And my other really good friend, Sickler, who he often comes on the show and sends in inbox clips and whatnot. Met them both in grade 7.
Oh, wow.
At volleyball tryouts, and we've been very close since. So, sports.
I will tell the story of how I met Zip a little bit later on, perhaps.
Sure.
It's kind of a cool. It's short. It's to the point. It's funny, but it fits both of us and our interests, and one of the things that has bonded us. So that is our off-topic topic for William Huff. How did you meet your best friend? What's the story? 780-218-9999. And again, as we ask, don't just write in at a party. Like, you got to give us at least 2 or 3 sentences. Like, hey, I met Barbara at Jennifer's 17th birthday party.
My brother-in-law is listening.
Oh, Perv Boy's listening in.
Oh, that's going to crush him that you're calling him Perv Boy. But actually, my niece, they just won the city championships in Div 1 volleyball. They beat Harry Ainley last night, 3-0. Do
you think he'll actually be offended that I called him that?
No.
Okay, good.
He's a lovable character. We it's nothing of the joking and ribbing that we give each other. So.
Oh, good. Okay. He's used to it if he hangs out with you. Yeah. As I'm learning as well from my new friend, Jason Milne. All right. So Luke Gazdic coming up right away in 2 to 4 minutes. Barnaby Craddock, Bull Rider Nick Tetz, Matt Dunnigan, more with the Nasties. We got a loaded show. It's going to be fun, as we always try to make it for you. And I'll tell you a little bit more about Career Day at Holy Trinity as well. But first, another new friend of mine, Zach Kubish, with a sports update.
There's a dozen games in the NHL, including the Flyers taking on the Lightning with rookie Matvei Michkov being listed as a healthy scratch. Elsewhere, the Flames play the Bruins. The Canadians battle the Devils, and the 12-1 Jets meet the Avalanche in Winnipeg with Cale Makar as a game-time decision for Colorado. And Chris Knobloch of the Oilers has announced today that Matthias Janmark is day-to-day. In the NCAA, they have adopted a new rule allowing players who suited up in the CHL before college enrollment to be a part of the NCAA program. Prior to the rule change, any player who took the ice in the CHL was ineligible for participation in the NCAA. Over in football, Sherwood Park native Chuba Hubbard has signed a 4-year extension with the Carolina Panthers with $15 million guaranteed. Thursday Night Football has the Ravens kicking off against the Bengals with Lieutenant Eric down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge. That one goes just after 6. And on the other side of the break, former NHLer and current Sportsnet analyst Luke Gazdic joins the show. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Fuge Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store, or use the code EST when shopping online at fugesausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Fuge Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
All right, hope you're having a great afternoon. I have an early goof up. My best friend's organ transplant. It was he needed a kidney, not a liver. Look. Here's one. Damn it, Jim, I'm a sports broadcaster, not a doctor. You know what that's from?
Star Trek.
Yes, thank you. So that'll be my goof up for the end of the show.
You know,
Hey, he needed a new organ or something, all right? I don't know what's in there.
one of these days they're going to find out a better way to keep these poppies on.
Oh, yeah, where you kept losing. Well, I lost mine
I'm all over the map.
4 seconds into the show on Friday. You've lost yours a couple of times. Yeah, that's okay. All right, 780-218-9999. Tell us how you met your best friend. And we do have Matt Dunnigan coming up. We got bull rider Nick Tetz coming up. And we got NHL broadcaster, former Edmonton Oiler. He's on Sportsnet. He's a regular here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Luke Gazdic joining us this afternoon. Luke, it's Reid and Jay. How are you doing? You might be muted, my friend. Can you check that?
There we go.
All right, success. What's going on?
Oh, not much, fellas. How we doing?
I'm doing great. All right, couple of questions before we dive into the Oilers stuff. How it doesn't have to like one of your best friends. How did you meet? What's an enduring friendship, and how did it start?
I mean, everything's through hockey, man. I either played against or played with like my 4 or 5 best friends that I still have in life. We all grew up on the same minor hockey team, the North York Knights, AA, and I still stood in 3 of their weddings. I'm still best friends to the day.
All right, that's awesome stuff. Later on the show, we the PBR's in town, right? And we got one of the top guys
Bull riding?
in the world, bull riding, Nick Tetz. So I'm wondering, Luke Gazdic, have you ever, like a mechanical bull, a real bull, attended a bull riding event? Like, what? Any stories there?
Ooh, good question. Man, I played hockey in Texas for 4 years. We were there at the rodeo every year. So Austin had the rodeo. It was one of the biggest in Texas. It was one of the biggest in the US. They had it out in Travis County, just like south of Austin. So those were fun, man. We used to go to the rodeo every year. But now that I'm thinking about it, the first ever one I went to, so I was playing junior. I was in Erie when I was 19 years old, junior, and I signed with Dallas, but they had no American League team. So I was like, what's going to happen here? Like, are they going to send me to a team where they have some of their prospects? And they go, no, we're going to send you to the East Coast League. And I'm like, where's this team? Where am I going? Boise, Idaho. So I flew from Erie to Boise, Idaho. And I remember like 3 days later, PR was down. All like I go. So here I am, like 19 years old with like 7 vets on the team watching the bull ride, and vets are smoking cigarettes outside. I'm like, where am I? What is going on right now? So yeah, Boise, Idaho. That was an absolute time. What a jungle it is down there. But that was my first bull riding experience. Got to see the PBR live.
So had you ever seen any bull riding or rodeo event live before, having grown up in Ontario?
No, I didn't even know what I was going to see. I didn't know the rules or anything. I didn't know the 8-second ride. I didn't know any of that stuff. And honestly, the rodeo was even more fun because they had like the races, the barrel racing with the kids, and like they had all these different events, roping, and like it was just for a kid that grew up in the concrete jungle here in Toronto, just high rises and concrete everywhere you look. It's pretty cool, man. Not gonna lie, I've been in some pretty wild places.
All right, so, and I'm not asking you to name names, but some of the flavor you added to that story is you're with veteran pro hockey players who are smoking cigarettes. Perhaps their career aspirations were not the NHL anymore.
I'm pretty sure it was like 2 days before the playoffs too. It was wild. Like, obviously not going to name names, but man, that league is just different. Like now looking back on it, I like cherish my time there. I'm so glad I got to spend some time, not only after turning pro, like that was the first place I played pro. I don't know. Some people ask me about the attitude I brought towards the game, especially in the NHL, and just how I never really took anything for granted. I was always like very thankful for every day that I walked in the rink. And I think playing in the East Coast League, like that'll do that to you. No matter if I was there for 2 weeks or 2 months, whatever it was, like I put some hair on your chest there, man. You'll grow up real fast.
Okay, just one more for you before we dive into the Oilers stuff.
Oh, maybe.
Or Jay might have another one too. Actually, that's good.
I like where we're going.
Well, I like where we're going too. So you had to fight in the NHL, and I've interviewed a lot of fighters over the years, and they talk about that. Whether you want to call it pressure or anxiety or knowing, okay, in 2 days I got to fight this guy. Now it's tomorrow night. Now it's in 5 hours. Now it's in 5 minutes. What do you think's more difficult? What you had to go through, or the feeling bull riders have to go through, knowing, okay, I only got to last 8 seconds, but that thing weighs a lot and it's not human. What do you think's more daunting?
I'll tell you what, man, I'll give it to the bull like 9 times out of 10, but that 1 time out of 10 is Milan Lucic, and I don't want him either. So I don't know. They're both pretty tough options. I've met a couple of those riders though, man. Like those guys are absolute nails. I'll probably give it to them. Like hockey fighting is as hard as it gets, but those bulls don't mess around, man.
Luke, we had MLB pitcher, Cleveland Guardian, and from Edmonton, Eric Zabrowski on our show yesterday, and one of the questions I asked him had to do with the transition from the minor leagues to the big leagues to the pros. And, as a player that, played in both, went up and down, what was for you the biggest aha like moment when you came from the minors up to the NHL?
Wow, that's such a great question. You know what? So as I said, I turned pro. I got to see a bit of the East Coast League, and then my next experience was an NHL training camp. So I was at Dallas Stars camp with all those big guns, and that's what kickstarted the pro career. And that first year for me was aha moment. So we had an expansion team, and what they went out and did was essentially like stack the team with tons of vets. They wanted to be successful in year one. Man, it was the consistency from day to day. like there were no days off. Like when we're playing juniors, sometimes you can show up and, it's just another day at the rink, whatever. Like it's a job, it's a lifestyle. And I leaned on vets hard early because these guys just day in, day out. Like I learned from some really good guys early in my career that it's not like a 4-day-a-week thing. If you want to make a thing at this and like earn some money doing this, it's got to be an everyday thing.
So is that the answer then, Luke, that we're looking for here as all Edmonton Oiler fans are wondering what's going on? Well, they're playing like a junior team. Is that must be it? I mean, we can quote that in air quotes and make sure that's the clip that we pull from this is that Luke Gazdic says Oilers are playing like a junior team or a minor team because they're not playing consistent.
Yeah, here, clip this. Oilers playing more like Oil Kings. Like, no, seriously, like I had a good chat with a couple people this morning just because we were covering that game last night and it was super frustrating, right? I think you guys said it, they did a lot of good things. The thing I'm seeing most, and it's obviously on the penalty kill with the lack of success there, but it's just being slow to defend. They are really slow defending right now. Like so many teams either walk into Edmonton or they play them on the road and they just have so much time and space in the offensive zone. There was one shift in the Jersey game on Monday. Paul Cotter, I think in the first period, like skated all the way around the offensive zone, stopped, forehand to backhand, like turned around. I'm like, how is Paul Cotter have the puck on a stick for 10 seconds? That was a very specific example, but I just see a team that's not taking enough pride in the D zone right now. I think that's a fairly fair way of putting it. Penalty kill is killing them. It was one of my kind of assignments before Wednesday Night Hockey was to go back and watch like the last 20 kills that they've had. And I'm sitting there shift by shift, breaking this stuff down. And I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit of effort. Like I see plays where they're like just a stick length away or behind, or, they're just not covering for each other or getting beat back to the net. So I see like a mix of effort, a mix of execution, and it just doesn't look like they're all on the same page right now. Similar things to what we were saying last year early. Like I remember this American Thanksgiving like it was yesterday from last year. Different, but yeah, it just looks like they're not on the same page right now, especially on the back end.
Yeah, I like it. Like we've used words like discombobulated, not connected, lacking in details. I said last night, I hopped on with Tom and Hernan after the game on their post-game show, and I said they're a team of almosts. And I actually put that at both ends of the rink, Luke. For the most part this season, in all zones, I think they have been demonstrating below average or poor passing. And I'm going to point out one play, and I said this to Jay earlier, and I think you might have been listening. Mistakes happen on offense too. And in the third period, it's 2-1. There's kind of a scrambly puck through the neutral zone. The Vegas right defenseman goes for it and misses it, and it goes to Hyman. And McDavid's going full speed. So at the very least, it's a 2-on-1, but Hyman has
it ahead of him,
and he missed him. And look,
him.
I've never played the game, Luke. I respect the people that do, but I have to be honest that I look at the length of that pass and the situation shouldn't have been that hard to complete. Like that pass has to be executed so your best player has a breakaway.
It's funny you say that because we're sitting in the green room and we had a full hockey panel yesterday, all guys that, play professionally at some level, and Borny and me and Colby. And we highlighted that, like not post game, but we were rolling that back. And I was like, how does he miss that from 6 feet? And it's not only that, it's the reaction to it, right? Like whether there was a shoulder shrug or like, not like Connor was not happy to not get that pass. To be honest, like I'd rather them be a little off at this point in the season. I think for guys like that, like this stuff's going to come. Like it sucks for fans to hear, but for some reason or another, early in the season, this team is just not on the same page. It's like the most depressing thing to say ever, but right now it is just more glaring than ever.
Luke Gazdic joining us on the Reid Wilkins Show, talking bull riding, the ECHL, and of course the Oilers' latest loss to the Vegas Golden Knights last night. And then I even thought in the final minute of the game, I've been watching Pud Colson very closely because I think he is still a tantalizing player. I've thought that I don't know if he's a very good player with the puck. He showed some progress against Calgary and Nashville, made some nice plays, made some nice assists. And then that whole sequence leading up to the game-winning goal, it's a semi-promising forecheck with that line, and he gets the puck along the right wing, and it's a pass to no one, and then off they go. And then I know other things happened at that end of the rink, but again, to me, that's something in the offensive zone. You gave the puck away without getting a scoring attempt when it looked like you had something going.
So I'll tell you a quick story. I don't know if I told you this last year or the year before, but I was playing my second year when I was with the Oil, and we were in Arizona, and I didn't have a great night. So we flew to San Jose, and we're practicing the next day, and I'm skating around before we get going. And this was shortly after Dallas Eakins had been fired. Craig McTavish actually took over the bench. So they appointed Todd Nelson, but then Mac T came down from the GM's booth, and it was like this weird transition period. And Mac T was the head coach at the time. So he pulls me aside in San Jose. We're skating around. He goes, "Hey kid, you were awful last night." And I was just like, okay, that's a great start to a convo. And he looked me dead in the eyes and said, "The play can't die with you. Do you know what that means?" And I didn't really understand it. And he said, when you're forechecking, you're in the offensive zone, your line is getting ozone time. You get the puck on your stick. You're about to protect it. The D pokes it off your stick and they go back the other way. You're the last touch in the ozone. That can't happen with you. He looked me in the eye. He's like, "You're so big. You're so strong. You cannot let the puck or the play die with you." And that's what I see with Pods. Is a guy who is extremely good at the forecheck, can get pucks back, but is just struggling with that last play, with finding that last play. And I really struggled with that, man. That was one of the toughest things in my career, was to get below the goal line and just get your butt out and protect it and make good plays. And that's what I see, offensive mistakes that looks like guys are forcing it a little bit. But with Pods, I will say it's all been great feedback, like in terms of his work ethic and what he's bringing to the rink every day. Like more than anybody, I'm hearing that name out of Oiler practices. So, you know what, give the kid some credit. At least he's working, just hopefully getting to work a little smarter.
Luke, I wanted to ask you about what your take would be on the word communication in terms of what's happening with this Oilers team right now. To me, and much like Reid, like I'm not a hockey guy. I never played hockey, but I did play sports at a high enough level to know that communication is very, very critical in a team sport. I just don't see it with this Oilers team right now. Are you seeing the same thing? And is that something that you think can be fixed?
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it. And that I do think is completely fixable. One of the ways I think that you can kind of get over the hump of this, and I don't know if you guys have heard kind of this before, but watching the film and showing guys, whether it's individually or whether it's in team sessions. So we used to break them down in groups, whether it's penalty kill PP, 5-on-5, you can go as a line, have an assistant coach break you down game film. The most beneficial ones, I think, are the team ones where you're watching 5-on-5 play. And for games like that, where maybe he doesn't like a period, coach doesn't like a period, he'll press play at 20 of the third and he'll go, "We're going to watch this thing together. Okay, we're going to break this down." And it can be in an extremely constructive way, holding guys accountable, but not belittling players. But for me, at least, a visualization of what I was seeing, and that kind of reinforced in me, for me, my game specifically, that I had more time out there than I thought. I always thought as soon as I got the puck, there were 6 guys on my back and I had to make a play, when really I'd watch the tape and like, there's not a guy within 10 feet and I'm turning over the puck at the blue line. I think it's just a good way, especially individual video. You get a coach like Mark Stewart with a defenseman, or whether it's Koff, someone just sitting down and being like, "Let's take a look at this. Let's work through it," kind of thing, you know?
Okay, so last one, and I think you were tuned in before we came on, and I made the point where I understand you have to play a position and somebody's got to do this and do this, but I also would argue there's a point where if the other guy is open enough, close enough to your net, somebody go take him. Like,
Yeah.
am I oversimplifying that, or do they need to react with a little more, I don't know, like desperation, a little more like, "Oh, that's going to be a devastating play. I better stop it."
Oh, no, you practice this, man. You know, at the end of practice, when you're tired and you're breathing heavy, you do drills that are 5-on-5 low with a track all the way back, and I can hear these coaches yelling in my ear, "Stop in the house. 5 back, 5 on a dice. If you're in trouble You back check through the middle. You put your head down and you back check through the middle of the ice, go back into your zone, find your position, put on the brakes and sort, right? Like everyone's coming back down the wall and like guys are lollygagging back through the neutral. It's common stuff that they know. It's just like just about executing it, to be honest. It gets me frustrated just because I know like how much these guys practice it and how much they work it. And then you kind of get in the game and you're not exactly seeing that.
Yeah. Well said, Luke. Okay. As always, thanks for the hockey-related stories, the life-related stories. Those are always a treat from you. And thanks for breaking down what ails the Oilers here as they are now 6-7-1. I think you're on with Dusty next week and then back with us in a couple of weeks. Again, thanks so much for committing to Edmonton Sports Talk. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Yeah, guys. Always a pleasure. Talk to you.
Luke Gazdic checking in. I love how he's able to explain stuff, Jay. I mean, I know he's seeing stuff that we're all seeing. He's kind of able to put it from that on the ice point of view, or like I loved how he said that. Yeah, we practice that.
Yeah.
We practice back checking while tired even to make sure our minds are working. And I know words like work ethic and effort get thrown around a lot, and I understand why people are critical of that. I think sometimes it's relevant. I almost think with this Oilers team, and I've said this in years past, it's almost concentration. I don't necessarily think they're going out and thinking, I'm going to just try to do 70% of my job and hope to get by. It's almost they're in a situation, and as Luke said, they don't recognize it, or they don't execute it. It's just focusing on that little detail. I mean, Hyman doesn't miss that pass because he's lazy. He misses that pass because he didn't, again, concentrate, execute, be thorough enough with what he had to do in that moment. And as Luke said, just skate back as fast as you can through the neutral zone. If one of Bouchard or Jeff Skinner does that, the first goal is probably not scored. Or at least you're making Eichel go around you and then around your goaltender. So, yeah, it's just these, and as he said, it's things that they know. And for some reason, it's not going from between their ears to the rest of their bodies to finish off these plays.
Focus, Reid. That was the word, focus. They're lacking that focus, and you can tell. I mean, they're all puck watchers at this. You know, on two of those, that final goal, it looked like a herd of puck watchers looking the other way.
Yeah.
When Hannafin came in behind.
Yeah.
You know, that's just focus and not having these mental lapses where you're stuck in la-la land. Keeping that mental edge.
All right. Good stuff with Luke Gazdic. We still have Barnaby Craddock coming up. More from you on the Oilers. We'll have some audio from today. But we got the Coob with the sports update.
The NHL sees the Canucks against the Kings, the Rangers meeting the Sabres, and the Predators taking on the Panthers. And elsewhere, the Flyers battle the Lightning with Matvei Michkov as a healthy scratch for Philadelphia. And starting in August 2025, CHL players will be eligible to participate in the NCAA. Before the implementation of this new rule, anyone who played in the CHL game would be disqualified from competing at the NCAA level. In the NFL, the Carolina Panthers have extended Sherwood Park native Chuba Hubbard to a 4-year deal with a guaranteed amount of $15 million. And it's the Bengals and Ravens kicking off for Thursday Night Football, where you can join Lieutenant Eric at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for 6:15 kickoff. And over in basketball, Bronny James of the Lakers has been sent down to South Bay in the G League after appearing in 4 games in the NBA. And basketball has 3 games on the slate, including the Spurs, tipping off with the Trailblazers. This sports update has been brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly family-owned and operated for 33 years. Paramount Flooring is your full-service flooring and tile supplier. Whether you're a homeowner, renovator, or builder, Paramount Flooring provides the flooring to fit your lifestyle and budget. Visit their showroom that's open 7 days a week at 10707 184th Street. Paramount Flooring. Flooring for the life that you live. And on the other side of the break, it's Golden Bears basketball head coach Barnaby Craddock joining Reid and Jay. I'm Zachary Kubish, and that was your sports update.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
The grand opening sale at Sit and Sleep is almost over. This is your last chance to take advantage of the special introductory sale prices on all mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, get free local delivery on any mattress over $7.99 and receive a free bamboo cooling mattress protector. Enjoy grand opening savings with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the final celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness. Don't miss out. The grand opening sale ends soon.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website, edmontonsportstalk.com.
Oh, tell your friends and neighbors, give us that thumbs up if you are tuning in on YouTube. We want to get to 100 every show. We are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown, personal injury law firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. JamesHBrown.com. Book your private consultation today. Pleased to be joined by the head coach of the U of A Golden Bears basketball team, Barnaby Craddock. Barnaby, you're on with Reid and Jay. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right.
We got you.
Hey, Barnaby, I just wanted to, to talk about this team that you guys have this year as you head into your season opener here against a highly ranked opponent in the UFC Dinos. We hate the Dinos here on this show, just so you know. So we're in light company. Tell us about the team that you've created here. What were some key additions, what were some of the key players that left from last year? What are some of the key additions to this year's team?
Yeah, guys, appreciate you having me on. I mean, we're all on the same page here. ABC, anyone but Calgary. Anyone but Calgary. We know the rules around here. I think they do have a strong team this year. They're nationally ranked, and I think we're coming off a decade of being one of the top programs in the country every year, and this year we've graduated a bunch of guys and kind of going through that university rebuilding process for a year. And that being said, we're highly competitive. We just sort of have a younger group that maybe will mature throughout the season. We're missing a lot of scoring and input from last year's graduates, but some of the veterans, we got Max Russell, Ethan Eager, Logan Powell, Isaac Simon, Fahad Youssef. Those are kind of the core group of returners. Couple local big guys, Caden Kushner and Nate Waldron are kind of holding it down. So a real sort of Alberta heavy, Edmonton heavy roster. A lot of the fans coming out are going to know these guys from seeing them play high school basketball around Edmonton or around Alberta. So it'll be packed here at Saville Centre this Friday and Saturday night. 2 exciting games versus a good opponent and start a league play. So we're excited.
Well, that's fantastic that you've got a team filled with some local talent. Last season, your Bears had the number 1 ranked defense in Canada West. Do you have the horses to follow that up again? And just what do you coach in order to get those results out of a team?
Well, it's interesting just listening to you guys talk about Oilers and some hockey beforehand. It's funny how work ethic and habits go between all sports and what gets accomplished in practice and what's emphasized by a coaching staff. And I think we do have a younger crew, so it's going to be hard to have that level of defensive success as people learn how to practice hard on a daily basis and build those habits that lead to defensive success on the weekends and when the lights are on. So the crew's working hard. There's definitely a lot of upside with our group. We see ourselves being someone that can peak in the playoffs. Probably ups and downs throughout the season as our young group learns how to play together. And but yeah, it's fun seeing such a strong Edmonton-based group with such a big upside.
Well, when I was looking at the rankings, the preseason rankings as to where all the teams are in the coaches poll, I believe there's 17 teams now in Canada West for basketball. Is that it's a large number. Okay, so I mean you're traveling from Victoria all the way out to Brandon, Manitoba at times. What, in your opinion, is the hardest road trip to endure?
Well, I mean, you've hit the nail on the head for one of the, problem areas for our league. I mean, it's the expansion is difficult. I mean, I played in this league years ago, and there was 6 teams in Canada West. There's 17 teams now.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, and I mean, and it's sad. I think around here we have a lot of beef with the schedule. Like, we don't play our historical rivals, UVic or UBC, in league play this year, and that's 75 years we've been playing those guys in league play. And now all of a sudden, new schools are coming in, and people are voting to change up the schedule and have us not play the same programs we've played for 75 years. I don't agree with this direction, and I think a lot of people would be on the same mindset that I have as well, that respect the level of Canada West basketball and the storied history. So I think that's disappointing, but all we can do, is do our jobs and play the games that are put ahead of us in the schedule. And so for this weekend, that'll be the Calgary Dinos, and next week we're off to Saskatchewan. And to answer your question, I think that trip to U of S is a tough one. You get on the bus out there to U of S for 7 hours, and same going down to Lethbridge. It's always a tough environment to play the Pronghorns down in Lethbridge. So there's a few of those old rivalries that are always a bit of a tough roadie.
Barnaby, I'm glad you said that about the number of teams. We've probably talked about it in the past, or I've railed against it. Yeah, when I was first started going to watch U of A games, like in the early 90s, there was 6 teams in Canada West. You played everybody 4 times. I think 4 out of 6 made the playoffs. Probably a larger league than 6 is maybe a little more appropriate, but 17 teams, and you nailed it. There are some teams that just do not interest me in watching them play. I love seeing the U of A win, whether it's Pandas or Golden Bears, but and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth here, but I'd sooner see a hotly contested win over the U of S than a 40-point win over a school that I don't know anything about. So I'm totally with what you're saying there. I got one more for you. And I want to ask this because we talked about it in the NBA and we had Jordan Baker on to talk about it. How much do you coach to shoot a three-pointer now in this day and age? Because they sure take a lot of them in the NBA now.
We're talking basketball analytics today. That's awesome. I mean, it's changed the game, and someone like Steph Curry that can create that dangerous of a shot off the dribble has definitely, been a massive change to the game. We have a lot of skilled players on our team now, and they can shoot the three-pointer off the dribble. It's not like they have to sit there and tee it up. And these are analytics these days. 3 points is more than 2 last time I checked. So you've got to get that balance of, free throws are sneakily the most effective way to score, right? So trying to get free throws and trying to get layups and trying to avoid those tough 2-point shots, that's basically the quick version of analytics, right? So shooting 3-pointers, getting free throws, and getting layups. So it's a huge part of it, and I think that's been part of our recruiting process for a long time. We like guys here that can shoot. We like guys here that can have skill, and every player on our team's in there working on the 3-point shot, from the 6'10" guys to the 5'10" guys. They all need to be able to stretch the floor and have that skill. And And when you have a group that can do that, you're primed to have a bit more success.
All right, Barnaby, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for making time for our show. We'll have you and or some of your players on throughout the season as well. I think you got to go to practice here, so thanks for being so generous with your time. All the best against the Dinos this weekend.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me on. I get to be polite with you guys for a few minutes. Now I can go yell at the boys and get ready for tomorrow.
There we go. Barnaby Craddock checking in, and we had Scott Edwards, Pandas head coach, on a couple of days ago. So Saville Center tomorrow and Saturday, right? Pandas at 6 o'clock tomorrow, Bears to follow, and then 5 o'clock Saturday, Bears to follow. And they start with a good series. I'm glad he said that because I think sometimes a coach might be careful to sort of be a little critical of the league that he's in. There are too many teams.
17.
You don't need 17 teams in Canada West. You could divide that into 2 leagues, or you could just have the best schools in an 8 or 9 team league.
Ooh, we talking relegation?
Imagine
here?
that. Imagine that. Imagine common sense from little old Reid Wilkins. Give me the. Well, here's the thing. You and I like USports. I'm going to guess, and people can tell us in the nasty chat or in the ESTN box, but probably if you're listening to Edmonton Sports Talk, you have some appreciation or interest in some, if not all, of the Golden Bears or Pandas teams. But do you want to go see the Pandas against, what? I don't even know the name of the school, UNBC, UNBO, BOED, I don't know.
Well, there's UFV, there's
Fraser Valley.
Yeah, UNBC.
I don't think they've been good in anything. I think Trinity Western is good at volleyball. They might have had respectable teams. They're in hockey now.
I think Fraser Valley is actually a pretty good volleyball school.
Okay, because I remember when they expanded there, but then they kept expanding with the UNBC. Who's the Heat? The Okanagan, the UBC Okanagan Heat?
Something, yeah.
Like, these schools do not belong in the same league as the U of A. And I know I'm sounding like, I'm a big city elitist. Well, sorry. I live in a big city with a big-time athletic school, and I want to see them play other big-time athletic schools competitively. Maybe in the national tournament you can let in some minnows and see what they do. I don't want to go see it on a Friday or Saturday night. Give people good draws that are going to put butts in the seats in Claire Drake and in the Saville Center. Sorry, everybody. That's just how I feel.
Well, and I mean...
Actually, I'm not sorry. That's how I feel.
Yeah, don't be sorry. You look at the coaches poll that came out, and I mean, you got McEwen and Mount Royal both at the bottom of that list. So those are 2 teams that have, the U of A, that's in the same category as McEwen. Mount Royal, that's in the same city as UFC. Why would an athlete choose to go to McEwen when they could go to U of A? Right? And if they are going to McEwen, I don't think McEwen's won a game in 2 years.
In men's basketball?
Yeah. Right? So, I don't know. It seems like, and I don't know who is behind allowing all these different teams in, but you think they're not playing a bulk of the teams this year. They just don't play them.
Yes, and that's the thing. They should play Calgary home and away. They should play Sask home and away. People in Saskatoon would want to see all those traditional schools as well. So I think there should be...
Or have a West division and an East or something,
Well, they put the divisions in hockey, though. And remember, Ian said they're going to change the divisions every 3 years on a 3-year cycle. Like, I know it's university sports, and I know it's amateur athletics, and they got to give everybody a chance and be equal. Why? Some schools and programs are better historically. If you want to become one of those, earn it. Don't get it handed to you by being led into a league that you can't compete in. That's all I'm saying. And I'm sorry if there are any, University of British Columbia Okanagan Heat fans out there, but that's what you're getting. It'd be funny if like half the nasties were like, actually, I'm a big UBCO supporter, Reid.
Actually, I'm a Trinity Western grad.
And I think those schools have been good in some sports, but it's not the same. To me, it's not the same.
17 teams.
That's too many.
That's bonkers.
That's too many in a Canadian University League. 780-218-9999. And you can send me an email, read at edmontonsportstalk.com. Watch the athletic director at one of these schools. I'm going to get along. Well, actually, Reid, our student body is this, and we generate $13 million in revenue. And 5 years ago, we beat the U of A by a point in an exhibition game, so we are competitive. All right.
The Trinity, the Thompson River Wolfpack.
The Wolfpack.
Then there's the Fraser Valley Cascades.
Yes, that's an intimidating name, isn't it?
The Winnipeg Westmen.
What are you? I'm a Cascade. What do you clean dishes?
Oh, baby.
Some portions of this hour are presented by the Canadian Brew House. Book your holiday party at the CBH today, your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. We got bull riding, we got football, we got more Oilers discussion, we got more review, we got the keyword for the flyaway to LA, all in the next couple hours. We got a break, though, and then we got a sports update.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Conveniently located 10 minutes west of St. Albert, Wheeler's RV Storage will provide you with safe, secure storage for your RV, boat, or whatever you need to store. Open 7 days a week with gated keypad access and extra large stalls. Now is the time to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get 1 month free. Now's the time to go to WheelersRVStorage.com. That's Wheeler's RV Storage. Safe, secure storage. Visit them today at WheelersRVStorage.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they're the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
The Canadian Ice House is taking your sports experience to a higher level. Trackman golf simulators are now open at the Ice House, an immersive and realistic golfing experience in the heart of downtown Edmonton. Visit in-store or at thecanadianicehouse.com for details.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
24 teams are playing tonight, with the Senators facing the Islanders, the Flames taking on the Bruins, and the Hockey Club in St. Louis to play the Blues. Elsewhere, Elliot Friedman reports that Cale Makar is a game-time decision one. The Avs meet the Jets, while Chris Knobloch lists Matthias Janmark as day-to-day. Staying in hockey, the NCAA has adopted a new rule to allow players to be involved in pro teams prior to college enrollment. This means former CHL players will now be qualified for competition in the NCAA. Down south, Chuba Hubbard, Sherwood Park native, has signed a 4-year extension with the Carolina Panthers, having a guaranteed amount of $15 million. Thursday Night Football has the Ravens and Bengals, where you can join Lieutenant Eric for the game at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road for the action at 6:15. Basketball has a 3-game slate, including the Jazz tipping off with the Bucks, while Bronny James of the Lakers gets sent down to the G League after playing 4 games in the NBA. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
All right, thanks for tuning in this afternoon. Oilers practice today. Matthias Janmark was not on the ice day-to-day, as you might have heard the Coob just say in his sports update. They will travel to Vancouver and play the Canucks on Saturday, 8 o'clock game. So we have the Oil Stream pregame show at 7 with Tom and Hernan. Then they'll be on after the game for the postgame show. A fun day Saturday. You got the doubleheader of the CFL Division Finals, which we'll talk about with Matt Dunnigan a little bit later on. And then you got the Oilers at 8 o'clock. You know what? I'll do buying or selling, even for these texts that we got in. All right?
Well, yeah. I mean, do you want me to read them now or wait?
I will. No, I'll do the read. No, do them now.
So Greg from Lacombe says, I agree with you guys. There should be 2 divisions, 9 teams in Division 1, 8 teams in Division 2, and 2 teams get relegated. Top 2 teams move up. Right? Chris Dixon says they should reduce Canada West to 10 teams, the original 6 and the 4 best or last over the last 3 years. Then there is an annual relegation and promotion to add from the second division.
And there was a year, and they've changed the format so many times. There was a year they had a top division and everybody made the playoffs, and then the bottom seeds were the best teams in the lower division, but I think they still played each other during the regular season. So all this and more, part of buying or selling for Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or the Instagram handle of Damon Bunting Real Estate. So I would assume most people are buying my proposition that Canada West should change something. We can probably debate exactly what they do. I wonder if fans of those smaller schools or the newer Canada West schools would say, no, Reid, you're wrong. Or would they say, no, actually, we'd be better off playing schools more our own size.
Yeah.
And then maybe getting into some larger national tournament at the end, like the NCAA does, where a number 16 team is going to play a number 1 and try to get an upset.
Well, you could build off of that. You could build something instead of getting your head throttled into the hardwood every time you go and play one of these larger schools.
Right.
Build something, win the second division, come up to the first division, and then you could, say, hey, we did this. We moved up to Division 1. So now you're going to use that as a perk when you're recruiting players. So, yeah, I'm all for it. And 17 teams is just absurd.
Yeah, for university. I mean, I guess there's some American league, like isn't the SEC up to about that many, or the Big 10 has way more than 10 teams.
I mean, we're talking apples to
oranges
oranges here.
It's also a little different.
Slightly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, big difference.
About $1 billion different.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. What's the revenue? What are some of the top football? Like, wasn't Saban making $9 million and the Georgia guy made $9 million? It's pretty absurd. All right, buying or selling for Damon Bunting. What else do you have for me?
Jode says, I am a Concordia College, Nate, and U of A alumni. Wow. How do you do that? He says he only follows Golden Bears football.
Well, then he's enjoyed this show because we talked about it a lot. He perhaps did not enjoy the results of this season, but we did talk about it quite a bit.
And then somebody that says EST with a wrench beside it says, Nate has great hockey, female champs last season.
Right.
That is me.
So that's the same league we're talking about, though.
Oh, okay.
That's ACAC. We're talking about Canada West, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we're not talking about all post-secondary. Right. We were talking specifically about Canada West, and even more specifically about Canada West basketball. But Nate does usually have pretty good hockey teams for sure.
How many teams would there be in Canada West hockey, Reid?
9.
9.
There's UBC, Trinity Western, U of A, McEwen, Calgary, Mount Royal, Sask, Regina, Manitoba, right? Is that not the 9?
Yeah. You see, here's the thing. When they started doing this individually based off of sport, rather than saying these are the teams, these are the sports you can play in, like football, like there's no Mount Royal or Grant McEwen.
Right.
With football, there's the basics. There's, pretty much similar to, well, and football is different too. It costs a lot more money to put a football program together.
Oh, way more players, yeah, and for sure.
Right. So I think you could do an East versus West division or some sort of a relegation.
In which league?
In basketball.
Oh, in basketball?
In basketball.
Yeah, I think you just put all the good teams in one league. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Biggest schools in one league. Traditional schools together. Yes, it's about participation, but it's not only about participation. You got to earn your way up. And there have been teams Gonzaga's not in a big conference in the NCAA, but they get a higher seed. They've built a good program. They didn't have to join a bigger league to do it. Am I not correct?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Well, I do know. I do know how I feel. I think I was pretty clear how I felt.
So there's 17 teams, right?
Yes.
So you'd have a league of 9 and a league of what?
I don't care about the other league. I only care how many stay in Canada West. The teams that aren't good enough can do whatever they want. They can form 8 one-team leagues for all I care.
You're spicy.
Well, I'm sorry I'm sorry for advocating for the school that I went to and that I try to support and believe has good athletics programs.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody.
So here's
sorry
the,
for striving for excellence, Canada West.
Here's the originals then, right? We want to see Victoria. We want to see UBC, Calgary, Manitoba, Alberta, Regina, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and even Brandon used to be in there in some sports, but I don't know.
What about Winnipeg?
Winnipeg was always so Manitoba's bigger than Winnipeg, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think when I was going to school, Winnipeg was good at men's volleyball, but their basketball teams weren't as good.
I like relegation. I'm buying.
Well,
relegate.
We got to change it. As if we can change it.
Reid.
Somebody put in there Reid for coach. I don't know if coach is Joel. I think a commissioner maybe would be more like it.
Reid, you and I can do whatever we want as long as we put our minds to it.
Exactly. As long as we believe in ourselves and concentrate, which the Oilers have not been doing.
Okay, so hashtag Reid for president of Canada West basketball.
Don't do that because Canada West is so inclusive. They'll probably just name me commissioner just to give me a chance.
Well, then you could get some stuff done. I mean, what's the problem with that?
Buying or selling, Nuge has to know better on that holding penalty.
Buying.
Well, of course. But I wanted to bring that up too. That's concentration. That's a decision. That's not necessarily laziness or lack of work ethic. That's a key moment in a game where you have to make the right decision. You have to be committed to doing the right thing. I know Nuge almost said he kind of maybe didn't like the call or where the referee was positioned. It's a hold. He took his hand off his stick and held the guy. You're up a goal halfway through. I don't know how much time was left. About halfway through the third period. Do not take that penalty. There is nothing to gain by getting the puck there. I mean, I know you want the puck in the offensive zone, but it's not worth the risk of taking a penalty. He took his hand off his stick and he grabbed the guy's arm. That's a penalty. And again, to get back to one of our themes, a lot of the mistakes or lack of execution or whatever you want to call it that the Oilers are guilty of, it's not just the younger or the newer guys. It's some veteran players, right? I've mentioned the pass by Hyman. You know, we mentioned Bouchard. You can discuss Ekholm's involvement in some of the plays if you want. That's Nugent Hopkins. He has one goal. And then he takes a penalty in the O-zone when you have a 1-goal lead.
Yeah, that's a tough
Concentrate.
So
risk versus reward. Commit.
So I think we're onto something here with the concentration talk and the focus. But how as a professional athlete do you not have that? How do you go into and go through a game and have over and over again mental lapses?
Okay, well, you're asking a complicated question, and I still do believe you have to recognize they're human, and they might have bad days, even though they do a sport in which they perform in front of thousands of people who care about the results.
That's fair.
Again, I don't think you can criticize a team or a player for not being perfect, but
I'm not. This is starting to become a pattern.
It's habitual.
Yeah.
It's habitual, inappropriate errors and clutch moments. I guess to put it that way. You know, I think I posted in the Nasty Chat last night, lack of detail and lack of execution in big moments, right? So, hey, if you're up 5 goals and you do something stupid and the other team scores with 2 minutes left, it's probably not going to get talked about. But, sure, you can say, well, Vegas was outplaying the Oilers in the third period anyway. Okay, well, then don't give them a power play.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have to hang on with a 1-goal lead to some extent or the other. So, remember the commitment. Remember your responsibilities. Remember your priorities. Remember what your coach has told you. So I'm not trying to single out that one play and say that's the worst play ever made or that, that's the only offensive zone penalty taken in the NHL this season. It's not. but don't give the other team the opportunity. And I said this to the guys last night. There are a lot of average or below average teams in the NHL that won't make the playoffs or maybe will barely make the playoffs, but they don't have a chance of winning the Stanley Cup. But they will be damn hard to beat. And they might even lose more than they win because talent still matters, everybody. I know we talk about work ethic and will and all that kind of stuff. Talent still matters. You know, like the Jeff Skinner goal the other night. Had to work hard to get there. Took some talent, though, to contort his body and score that. Not many guys could do that.
Yeah.
So talent still matters. So there's going to be teams that lose games because of a talent deficit, but they will not lose games as a result of handing the opposition opportunities. They will say, if you score, you're going to have to come through all 5 of us who are in a committed and near perfect defensive stance and aren't going to run around and make a stupid choice. And that team might lose a game 4-2 because they're just not capable of scoring more than 2, you know, and other teams will out-talent them. But they're not, and quite frankly, and hey, Vegas wasn't perfect last night either, but I would say on the whole, Vegas played a more committed game. And what did I say about Vegas? They're miserable bastards. They don't go away.
Yeah.
They make it hard on you.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes, not all the time, and look, the Oilers have a couple losses this year that could have gone either way, where I didn't think they played that bad. The Carolina game was probably an example. They lost in overtime. But I think too often, even for being a pretty good team for the last 5 years, the Oilers have too many nights in which they make it a little too easy on the opposition. Buying or selling? Well, I know you're buying. That's a loaded question.
I'm buying everything
But
today, Reid.
I think that's
I'm going broke.
I think we just got to buy it and make it obvious that that's on the shelf for sale.
Let me ask you something. This, you know, because obviously I would say Bouchard's play has been lackluster so far this year.
Well, he's going to be on the team for 10 more years.
That's
and
fine.
He's going to make defensive mistakes for 10 more years.
I understand that. But is there a part of Edmonton Oilers fans that should be not happy about this, but if it were the opposite and Bouchard was lighting it up, and I'm saying there's a lot of season left here, so a lot of things can change. But that just drives up that asking price of that contract that is eventually coming up at the end of the year. Is this not a little bit of a bargaining chip for management to say and to look at what's going on here? And I'll just say it, how exploited he has been in numerous situations on ice this year. Defensively. Now, I understand. We've begged and pleaded for a right-hand shot defenseman.
Yes.
That's fine. But I'm just saying, an arbitrator would bring that up and say, look, you're a liability defensively. And you're not contributing on the score sheet right now.
Well, okay, but that's the issue. Unfortunately, some players are who they are. Evan Bouchard is not a defensive wizard. I think there will be some visible gaffes throughout the course of a season. You have to hope that they are limited. After the coaching change last year, they were fairly limited. Pardon me, and he wound up with 82 points in 81 games. He has 7 points in 14 games this season. If he were a point a game right now, then the Oilers probably have a couple more wins. Maybe they even win last night, and we're not talking about that mistake yesterday as being such a crippling play. So if he's going to make a tremendous defensive gaffe every 10th game, you can live with it if he's got 10 points over those 10 games.
Yes.
You can't when he's got half a point per game over those 10 games.
Buying or selling?
Everything. I want it all. I'm going to buy it, sell it, repackage it, put it on eBay. Then I'm going to buy it back for myself and put it on Kijiji. And then I'm going to sell it to Norm in a combine. Norm. All right. I'm sorry if I'm irritating people today in the nasty chat.
Why would you be irritating people?
Well, I don't know. I'm saying negative stuff, and I got on a rant about Canada West. And again, I really don't think the Oilers are a terrible team, but all I can tell you is what I see. And I respect some people might see different things or have it out for, not have it out, but key on certain players. I think it's a team thing. I do think a lot of the stars and headline players aren't playing well enough and aren't being thorough enough and don't have it. Concentration, whatever. But they better find it fairly quickly because, even if you're around 500 by Thanksgiving. If you're 520 games into the season, well, now you have to play 12 games over 560 games instead of having 82 games to do it. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
All right. Of course, as always, we are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Visit them at jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. We'll talk a little bull riding. We got a bull rider in studio. Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch lists Matthias Janmark as day-to-day, while the Flyers make Matvei Michkov a scratch tonight against the Lightning. Other games see the Flames battling the Bruins, the Canadians with the Devils, and the 12-1 Jets meeting the Avalanche in Winnipeg with Cale Makar as a game-time decision for Colorado. Elsewhere, the NCAA has adopted a new rule allowing players coming from the CHL to be a part of their program. Prior to the rule change, any player who took the ice in the CHL before college enrollment was ineligible for participation in the NCAA. Thursday Night Football has the Ravens kicking off against the Bengals with Lieutenant Eric down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for that one. Kickoff goes just after 6. The NBA has a 3-game schedule with the Spurs tipping off against the Trailblazers, while the Lakers reassigned Bronny James to the G League after he played 4 games with the LA Lakers. This sports update has been brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew, whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance. Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy uses the same locker room approach, trusted by the best in the game. Find them online at advantagesportmed.ca. And on the other side of the break, professional bull rider Nick Tetz joins Reid and Jay in studio. I'm Zachary Kubish, bringing you the latest.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
This is your chance to win big with the Split the Pot Lottery. Support the Capital Care Foundation to help Alberta seniors get the care they deserve and support more healthcare foundations across the province. With a grand prize that grows with every ticket sold, the jackpot is hundreds of thousands and just keeps getting bigger. Visit splitthepot.ca and buy your tickets now. Don't forget to pick Capital Care Foundation as your foundation of choice. Lottery license number 698984.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to jameshbrown.com.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Okay, Nasties, we got more in-studio fun here. Of course, big PBR event at Rogers Place tomorrow and Saturday. This gentleman is ranked second in PBR Canada. He was the champ in 2022. Nick Tetz is joining us. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
So let's settle some controversy first. You're Smitty the welder's cousin?
Yeah.
And, you know, Smitty and I had a little tete-a-tete a couple weeks ago, and then we had, like, National Welding Day here on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Because he thought I was poking fun at welders, even though I wasn't.
Yeah.
But he said, Reid, you're saying his name wrong.
Yeah, it's pronounced Tetz, but it's been announced Tetz since I was a rookie, so I just roll with it.
So you want
Tetz.
us to roll with that tonight?
I'm
Okay,
good with
Smitty
that.
the welder, I hope that's okay, baby.
Yeah.
I told Smitty the welder if I ever saw him in person, I was going to hug him. Good idea or not?
Yeah, you'd be all right. He's just a big teddy bear.
All right. Okay, that's great. Okay, so you're here for the big PBR. Well, first of all, if people haven't gone, and I've seen this, I mean, of course it's the bull riding. It's a great sporting event, but like it's a whole show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a whole production. They got like the fireworks that we light off. We got fire in the dirt, big booms. You'll see if you can see any of us before intros, they start counting it down, and we all got our fingers in our ears because we know the big booms are coming. So, it's like basically a rock show with a little bit of bull riding sprinkled in it.
Right. Well, so it's fun. I mean, you got to put on a show for people, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's before we talk more about this weekend, I'd love Jay too. Like we love getting your stories, right? So, how'd you get on a bull the first time? What happened?
My godparents actually, they raise bucking stock. So they raise bulls and horses and and cows and stuff for the steer riding. And, Dad sent me out there for a couple of weeks to go learn how to work when I think I was 12 at the time. I was starting to get a little spoiled and, learn how to drive and everything at that time. And then, he came to pick me up and he's like, Nick, you want to get on steer? And he seemed really excited about it and I didn't want to disappoint him. And I was too scared to say no to him more than I was scared of getting on. So I'm like, I'll just get on. And then after that, I was kind of hooked. And then I got on my first bull, I think, when I was 15. And actually, Cole Ashbacker, Dwayne and Judy's son, he actually had to drive me because I couldn't drive yet. So Cole took me to my first pro rodeo in Medicine Hat in 2014. And then the following spring, he took me and I went and got on my first bull.
Okay, wait a minute. So you turned pro like 14, 15 years of age?
In the steer riding.
The steer riding. Yeah. So that's okay. So that's for the younger.
Yeah. Yeah. I was 14,
but still
14. Yeah.
Were you ever scared?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember my first actual rodeo that I entered. And I didn't know how to hang my rope up on on the fence. I didn't even have boot ties on. My boots were falling off halfway through the ride. Like I was still fresh. And, I remember sitting there waiting to get on, and I wanted so badly to ask Cole, am I going to die? But I was like, nope, I'm not going to ask him. I'm just going to get on, do it. And I rode, and I still have the picture of the ride and my check. I made like $69 or something like that from that one. So
wow.
So okay, when was so you started the steer wrestling not steer wrestling. But you started that at 14 years old, essentially, right?
Yeah.
What was the big moment for you where you said, okay, I think I'm going to go and try and make a bit of a profession out of this? What was your aha moment?
I think it was I was 16, 17, and growing up in town, everybody, you get done school and you get out in the summertime, and all my buddies, they were having to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, going cutting grass at a golf course or something like that, and I got to go and travel to the prairies, go to BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, even went over to Manitoba with all my buddies, and I made way more money than they did. So I was like, you know what? If I'm 16 doing this, making more money than you guys, I was like, I might not be able to make more money than you for my entire life, but right now I'm like, this is a pretty good gig. So, and I'm like, and I have way more fun, and I don't have to wake up at 6 a.m.
So you started out, and we've talked to some people that have been involved in rodeo, and we'll get to your rise to being the number 2 ranked rider in the PBR. But give us a little insight into traveling around the prairies. It's not as glamorous as one would think, right?
No, I'm really fortunate. I invested a little bit of money. I got a Dodge ProMaster, like a Sprinter van, and I spent a winter converting it, and so it's got bunk beds in the back. I got a couch that pulls out into a bed, and then I think the most important part is I got a TV in there with the Xbox, so we can drive down the road, play Chell or something like that on the Xbox. That keeps us more occupied while we're driving down the road.
Well, and usually, you know, from what I understand, you're running with the same crew for the most time, good buddies that you know, probably competitors of yours as well. So what's the stipend that they must pay you? What's the room and board for the Sprinter van?
We just go tank for tank.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy. I'm not too much for crunching pennies or anything like that. I'm like, if we got a lot of us in there, then I won't pay gas. I'll be like, okay, you guys got fuel for this weekend if there's 4 or 5 of us in there, because most of the time every weekend you got to go and get an oil change. So I'm like, I got the oil change and I got to put the tires on and change the brakes and everything like that. So I'm like, you guys get fuel and I got the rest.
Wow. Go ahead, yeah.
I just wanted to ask, because you said you got the Xbox.
Yeah.
Are there any bull riding video games?
Yeah, there's the PBR has one, 8 to Glory, and then there's another one with like the Xbox Connect that you actually have to ride them. Oh. I had both of those for a little bit, but you know, when we're going, we like to kind of keep our minds off of it and not think too much about the bull riding. And, you know, that's for when we show up. That's 2 hours before. That's when we start thinking about it, not while we're driving and we got 8 hours of driving to do and you're sitting there thinking of bull riding. You just make yourself go numb to it.
So it sounds like, and I want you to expand on it, but I mean, I don't do a lot of this anymore. I used to work in Lloydminster.
Yeah.
So I'd go to Lee Park, had a rodeo.
Yeah.
Sometimes there'd be an indoor rodeo in their hockey arena. So I might see 3 or 4 a year. I'm no expert. But if I got to be by the chutes, I noticed like guys are taping each other up. Like McDavid wouldn't go help Eichel with his stick, you know. But with you guys, is it just because it's still kind of individual? Is it pretty supportive?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're riding against our bulls, but also too, it's such a dangerous sport that, you know, you want everyone to succeed. You know, just it's so dangerous, and guys have lost their lives doing this sport. So, you know, just with that in the back of the mind, there's no need for any animosity towards anyone. You wish everyone to do the best, and you just want to do better than them.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I know that, you know, Cody Coverchuk is ranked number 1. You're number 2 behind him. So I thought this would be an excellent opportunity for you to, you know, chirp him a bit or say, you know, hey, I'm coming for you, Cody. But it sounds like that's not how it rolls in the bull riding community.
No. You know, a good example is last weekend we were out in Yorkton, Saskatchewan for the last event of the year, and I'm sitting first at the time, and he's sitting second right behind me, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, there's no one over here to help me get on. First person I look over my shoulder is Cody's right behind me, and I'm like, hey, can you give me a hand? And I had a bull. He was kind of like bouncing around in the chutes and kind of fighting the box a little bit. And if he probably wouldn't have been there, I probably would have went head over heels and got stomped in the chutes. And he's sitting there in my ear telling me to go to him and go have fun and go dominate. And five guys later, he was up, and he had a bull that was also bad in there, but they run a necktie on him. And so he's like, hey, you want to run this necktie? And, yep, sure thing. So,
and that is such a special thing with the rodeo community, you know, and the PBR community is that everybody's looking out for each other, and it's more of a family first kind of attitude there. So credit to that sport for creating that family. Now we've got a video here, and if you're watching on YouTube, obviously you'll see this. Nick, and if you're not, we'll try and do our best to describe it. But Zach, I want you to pause it. We're good. We'll just run it. But this is a run that you had versus. Then this is Langham Kid.
Yeah.
This was where in Medicine Hat.
Yeah, that's at Medicine Hat. Yeah,
okay,
that was a couple weeks ago.
This is just going to keep rolling through. So, but I want you to put our listeners in the mindset of what you're going through when you're sitting in the chute. What's going through your head? You're getting on a 2,000-pound animal. What are you thinking about?
Well, the first thing, like when I'm in the chutes, it's making sure that I get my feet up to kind of in front of my rope, just to kind of help keep my feet down. And then with Langham Kid, he's really big, and honestly, I thought I was going to handle him a little bit easier on this trip. I thought I was going to be able to kind of sit up there and actually try to spur him, just kind of show I was in control. And he had me strung out from the word go. And you can see I'm just kind of back, and all I'm doing is I'm just throwing over behind my head, just trying to get back over to the middle. And I finally heard the whistle go, and I'm like, get me off of this thing, because I am about to get whipped down hard here, and he's big, and I do not want to get stepped on.
Can you describe, just for everybody and me too, what do you mean by you got strung out?
Just kind of get behind. You get behind his timing, and it's all about counter moves with bull riding. So most of the time, bulls have a jump and a kick, so they'll come up in the front end, and when they come up in the front end, that's when you want to go forward and kind of take all their power away, and then when they kick, you just set your hips to your rope. And I got behind and wasn't able to keep going to the front, and so I just needed to keep throwing it to the inside and almost try to get myself to the inside of the spin, because then I could pick up that timing again, and I never did.
Okay, so what was your score on this ride? And can you explain to people, if they're going to PBR for the first time this weekend or they're not sure how the scoring works, what they want to look for?
Yeah,
that's a good ride.
Yeah, so the scoring works. There's 50 points for the bull and 50 points for their rider. So, in an ideal world, you'd have a 100-point ride would be your perfect score. Not really possible, because if the bull's 50, then he did his job completely, and so you shouldn't have stayed on either, right? But, most of the time, the bulls will be, around 42 to 45-point bulls. And so normally if you stay on a 45-point bull, your ride score is also going to be 45 minimum.
Okay.
No, most of the time, unless you're hanging off the side or
90
something
is
like
really
that.
good, isn't it?
And 90 is like, if you make a 90-point bull ride like that, it's a really good bull ride.
Okay.
So, I mean, we have a deal in our rig when we're going during the summer that if you're 88 or more, you owe everyone in the rig a steak dinner.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So everyone gets to go out for a steak dinner at some point. So I still owe a couple from this year, but I'll get them paid up here right away. So
and so is the PBR, does that limit you to events that you can now go out and compete in? Because the PBR is not, it's a different entity than say like the summer rodeo circuit, or maybe I'm mistaken, but
yeah. So up here, like we enter all our own events, and so you can decide where you want to go. If you want to go to rodeos or go to PBRs, and you can do both. And there's a lot of guys who are really successful doing both, but for the most part, for me, the money's just been getting so good in the PBR, and there's more and more coverage of it. Like we're on TSN and everything like that now too. So I've just kind of focused more on PBR and trying to put all my chips in that. And then, I'm also part of the PBR teams down south with the Arizona Ridge Riders. And so, that kind of takes a little bit of my focus away from competing up here sometimes. But my team's really good about letting me miss certain events down there to be able to go after a Canadian title.
Now, you're a born and raised Calgarian.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to a bull riding event at the home of Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Is there a little extra pressure on you, a little extra desire to lay down the big win under the lights where Connor McDavid and the Oilers shine brightest?
No, not really. It's just it's a really cool venue, and honestly, it's a venue that when you walk into it, it feels like it's the finals. Like it's like, all right, we're at the last one of the year. It's time to go out and let it all hang out.
Couple more for you, Nick Tetz. Thanks for coming in. Worst injury you've ever suffered riding a bull, or getting bucked off a bull, perhaps, is the question.
I'd say the worst one was I dislocated my shoulder when I was 16 in Kyle, Saskatchewan, which, if most of you don't know, that's not really close to any sort of hospital.
Okay.
So that was probably the worst one, and then kind of battled through that, and ended up finally getting surgery on it in December of 2018. And then, but the scariest one actually is the first year that the finals were up here in 2021. I got on a bull, and it was like second or third jump. I ended up getting bucked off and kind of got caught underneath them and He stepped on my chest, broke 5 ribs, and ruptured my lung. And the worst part is the paramedics that were there. They went to go hook me up to the EKG, and they put my right arm and left arm on the wrong ones. So it came back that I had an irregular heartbeat.
Oh, wow.
So I thought I was dying. And then the other paramedics came to take me to the hospital and went to hook me up to theirs. And they're like, no, they put it on the wrong arms. Like, here, let's do this. Oh, yeah, no, everything internally looks fine. And I was like, okay, I'm all right.
So when you're bucked off, and obviously you're ranked number 2, so you don't get bucked off a lot, or even if you're just dismounting, what do you try to do so it's safe for you and the people helping?
The first thing, some guys don't have to, but I do. We take a wrap in bull riding, so you actually wrap the tail of the rope around your hand and run it back through again. And I get my rope really, really sticky, so I got to make sure that I pull my wrap first, otherwise my hand isn't going to come out. I mean, it'll come out, but it just doesn't come out when I want to. It's right when I catch all the kick, and I end up either landing on my back and hitting the ground real hard or on the top of my head. So that, and then you kind of try to sit down on your butt and almost slide backwards to their hip to where you can kind of almost catch their hip, and it'll throw you away from them.
Oh, okay. All right. Wow.
Nick, the greatest athletes in sport have tendencies.
Yeah.
They sure, and is there a book of all the bulls that you face where you can say, okay, this bull's going to do this, it's going to come out, and then it's going to move left, or it's going to spin right? Is there something that you guys all have and share that you can say, okay, I got a little bit of an inside information on this bull?
Yeah, so there's a website. It's called Pro Bull Stats.
Okay.
And basically, if a bull's been to a professional event anywhere, it's in that database somewhere. So you can search up your bull's name or their ear tag number, and you can figure out you can maybe see some videos of him on there, or you can at least see his bull scores and kind of know what you're getting yourself into. But they also got a mind of their own. It might say in the book that they're supposed to just kick out there and be really nice and go left, and they might shoot out of there, kick straight over their head so hard they flip over. You never know, right? That's the thing, is they got a mind of their own. So you can go in there with as much of a game plan as you want, but it could all go out the window first jump.
Nick, thanks for coming in. I'm on the website right now, pbrcanada.com, the PBR Canada National Finals tomorrow and Saturday at Rogers Place. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca. Casey, are there tickets left?
Yep.
There are still tickets if people want to check it out at Ticketmaster.
Not many, so get them quick.
Yeah, you got to grab them so you can see Nick and all these other great athletes and the great bulls as well.
Bulls, yeah.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, you're ranked number 2. Does that mean anything this weekend to help you be the champion, or does everything reset going into this?
Nope. So based off of the season and all the points that me and Kovarchuk have won, it's between just me and him.
Oh, only one of you can be the champ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Based on the points.
We've both had. He's had an absolutely incredible year this year, and I'm just happy to be close to him. Honestly.
Okay. Where's he from?
He's from Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan,
but
he's been living in Edmonton for the last couple of months. I've been seeing him at Acumen Performance. We go in there and get all our injuries worked out and work out there. So it's almost every time I go in, I see him.
Well, Nick, last time somebody was on our show, the next or 2 days later, he was named president of the Edmonton Elks. So we've now said that is the Reid Wilkins Show bump.
Perfect.
So we're going to wish that those wishes on you. So good luck this weekend. Nick Tetz, professional bull rider. The PBR Canada National Finals are here this weekend, Friday and Saturday down at Rogers Place. So good luck to you. Thank you so much for coming in. That was great. Make sure you go cheer him on this weekend.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Matt Dunnigan still to come as well. Here comes the Coob with a sports update.
Matthias Janmark has been listed as day-to-day for the Oilers, while the Devils reassigned Semo Nemec to the AHL. The Devils are in action today when they take on the Canadiens, while the Flames meet the Bruins and the Senators play the Islanders. Elsewhere, it's It's the Flyers battling the Lightning with Matvei Michkov as a healthy scratch for Philadelphia. And starting August 2025, CHL players will be eligible to participate in the NCAA. Before this new rule was implemented, anyone who played a CHL game would be disqualified from competing at the NCAA level. And in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers have extended Sherwood Park native Chuba Hubbard to a 4-year deal with a guaranteed amount of $15 million. And it's the Bengals kicking off against the Ravens for Thursday night football action, where you could join Lieutenant Eric at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for a 6:15 start. And in the NBA, Bronny James of the Lakers was sent down to South Bay in the G League after appearing in 4 games for LA. This sports update has been brought to you by Sit and Sleep. The wait is over. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payments for 18 months interest-free. Sit and Sleep. Find them beside Planet Fitness in South Edmonton Common, or check them out online at sitandsleep.ca. The Reid Wilkins Show returns just after the break. I'm Zachary Kubish with your sports update.
Conveniently located 10 minutes west of St. Albert, Wheeler's RV Storage will provide you with safe, secure storage for your RV, boat, or whatever you need to store. Open 7 days a week with gated keypad access and extra large stalls. Now is the time to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get 1 month free. Now's the time to go to WheelersRVStorage.com. That's Wheeler's RV Storage. Safe, secure storage. Visit them today at WheelersRVStorage.com.
780 is just another lame-ass, low-budget local shop. Homegrown right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 1,000 local vendors from the 780 to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport.
Fuge Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store, or use the code EST when shopping online at fugesausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Fuge Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind 360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
All right. If you're watching on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. We endeavor to get to at least 100 thumbs up every day. You are also probably joining us, or some of you are joining us on the TuneIn app, on the iHeartRadio app. If you're getting us after the fact on a podcast or watching YouTube after the fact, we thank you for consuming the show that way as well. Edmonton Sports Talk, now 14 months old, still very young in our existence and continuing to grow. If you like the programming, tell your friends to watch. Tell your enemies to watch. Tell your grandma and grandpa to consume the show. We love having everybody on board. Portions of this hour presented by the Canadian Brewhouse. The NFL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse with Thursday Night Football and your chance to win a trip to an NFL home opener of your choice. $1 off tankards of Bud Light and Budweiser. Details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. Nick Tetz we're going with. He said that's fine. PBR Canada National Finals here in Edmonton tomorrow and Saturday. He's going to an event tonight. He was an excellent interview.
Awesome. Just really, it's always neat to get insight into something you've seen, but you don't necessarily know.
Right.
And then I really appreciate the camaraderie in that sport and in rodeo in general. Those, that every time he steps in there, you're putting your life on the line, and those competitors all know it. So just incredible. Awesome. And we wish him good luck. We wish him the Reid Wilkins Show bump.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I don't know.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, Zach's here. That's, he got the Reid Wilkins bump.
How?
I wasn't on the show, though. You have to be on the show to get the bump. Isn't that the...
The bump is that you get to produce it for Reid Wilkins. Congrats.
Pretty good bump.
Nice. We will also have, at some point before 6 o'clock, the keyword for the EST Fly Away to LA. We're also going to have our weekly segment, my favorite one ever, the afternoon debate, before we sign off at 6. But we have our daily feature right now. Oh, by the way, do we have any off-topic topics?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the off-topic topic for William Huff, how did you meet your best friend? I got to tell my story too, but what do we have coming in?
Okay, Joelle said, fought with my BFF, then we made up and we found out we are birthday twins.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And they've been together, inseparable since. This comes in from Vic. In grade 5, a neighboring town school was combined with the school I was going to. Day 1, a boy sat beside me. We introduced ourselves. And even though our lives have gone different directions and we live in different locations, 50 years later, we still stay in touch.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
So I mentioned my good friend Christian Zip was the teacher at Holy Trinity who asked me to participate in Career Day. I met Zip in a U of A drama improv class. I think it would have been the fall of 1992. And I think it was the second day of class. I don't believe we spoke on the first day of class. And then, the second day, you're waiting for the teacher to show up, or I don't know what was going on. And Zip was wearing a Van Halen T-shirt,
yes,
which I didn't know was his favorite band by a wide margin, like kind of how I'm passionate for Leopard. And I'm sitting next to him, and I was like, oh, hey, do you like Van Halen?
The rest
and
is
that's
history.
how it started.
That's awesome.
Where he was wearing a Van Halen shirt, and away we went.
Ah,
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I know there's a lot of younger people, and I maybe felt this a little bit when I was younger. Maybe getting old you find scary, or if you find like, oh, I don't want to be old. I got to tell you, though, there's a lot of beauty in some of the long-lasting things you're going to have in your life.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Appreciate it. Enjoy
Appreciate the zip in your life.
Yes. That's a great So we'll get a map.
Yeah.
What was the other one we said we wanted to get?
Joe Elliott's poster.
Yes. And then we'll get maybe in limerick form, it'll end up with appreciate the zip in your life.
Right.
Somehow. Jasmine in the nasty chat, she says, I met my best friend in grade 5 after trying to act too cool until we had to sit together. We went to elementary, junior high, and high school together. We have since remained inseparable. She is a nasty and part of my entourage at EST events.
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. So along those lines, so we're bringing this up. If you missed it earlier, me talking about it the other day, I was at the career day at Holy Trinity. So I did 4 sessions. So I did a lot of talking, but the students were really energetic, really, really welcoming. And at the end of my presentation, I left a lot of room for questions, because to me, that's really the main reason you're there. Hey, here's what I do. Here's why I do it and how I do it. What do you want to know?
Yeah.
So I have my top 3 questions from students at Holy Trinity today, presented by Food Sausage, the best sausages you will ever eat, locally made and packed full of flavor. Order online or visit them in store at 6736 99th Street and take advantage of their EST discount. That's right, 10% off your order by entering the online code EST, or just mention EST in store. So, for example, let's say I was buying sausages. I was like, hey, I want to get these sausages. By the way, is that a Van Halen T-shirt?
10% discount. Yes.
Yeah, sort of.
EST.
Free delivery in Edmonton on orders over $100. As Food Sausage says, you can't beat our meat. First of all, before I get to the top 3, there was a student in one of the sessions I did named Evan Bouchard.
Yeah, that's right.
So, the session's kind of winding down, and his buddy's going, hey, his name's Bouch. His name's Bouch. And I was like, okay. And they're like, no, his name's Evan Bouchard. And Zip was there. I said, "Is that true?" He's like, "Yeah, that's Evan Bouchard." Oh my gosh! So that was kind of fun.
Depends on the day. That could be a great name. It could be a terrible name.
So one interesting question I got, and it's always fun to talk to the older students. I love doing the read-in week at my cousin's school, but I usually talk to grade 3 and younger, and the questions tend to be, what's your favorite color? Do you have a dog?
Right.
You know, fine for a younger audience. So a young lady asked me today, do you have to change your voice on air?
Oh, wow.
And I thought that's a really good question. And I answered it by saying yes, but no. Because
I was just going to answer that way too.
You have to have a presentation voice and make sure you're communicating clearly and enunciating and projecting, but you also have to sound natural. And that's one of the challenges I had earlier in my career and other broadcasters have had as well, especially if you're maybe anchoring the news or the sports or you're reading a story that you wrote. I remember people early in my career saying, just tell me. Well, but I'm reading it. Yeah, but just tell me. So like, try that at home. Read something, but just tell it to your spouse or your kids or somebody in your house. It's not as easy as it sounds. So I said, no, I don't change my voice, but I will change things about my
cadence,
delivery and cadence.
Yeah.
I use far less profanity on air than I do in my real life and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really good question.
You know what's funny is when I first started doing more and more on air here, I would fill in on the morning show for Dustin if he was away or if Eric was away. And I would do the sports update. And the first couple times, it's actually my wife, God bless her. She told me the goods. She says, you sound like a sports reporter. Like, just talk.
Right.
Just talk like yourself. Because I would bring it in like this, and the Oilers are playing tonight in Philadelphia.
Right.
And it was really unnatural. And she called me out on it. But it is interesting. I myself, I've learned that I have to slow down my speech.
Which is one thing, I've probably told you this, and I tell this to a lot of young broadcasters, and I still talk too quickly sometimes. But yes, take your time. No one's forcing you to talk at a certain speed. No one is going to listen and judge you on how quickly you told them something. Oh my God, this happened. I better say it in 3 seconds. No, take a breath and say it clearly so people can understand clearly what the news is or what your opinion is or what's going on the show. But yeah, that's a really good point. So that was a good question. Do you have to change your voice to go on air? Another good one was, and Zip texted me some of these too because he liked a lot of them. Somebody asked me, what's it like being in the Oilers dressing room post-game? So first of all, I had to clarify, for 11 seasons, I wasn't in the dressing room post-game. I did it for a couple of years when I was producing Oilers Now, and then I was doing Overtime Open Line for 11 years. Now this season, I'm going into the dressing room again. So first of all, and this might be interesting to people, when we go into the dressing room after the game, at least now, all the players are not in there. The only players who are in there are the ones who have been requested to be spoken to. So we don't go in and just go up to whoever's stall we want to go to. Somebody usually puts in a group chat, we would like Ekholm and Nugent-Hopkins, I guess, spoke yesterday. Who else? Kulak. But
so where are the other players?
There's a players' lounge off to the side. So they change out of their equipment and then go back to shower, I guess, and get into their street clothes. Or Ekholm, I guess, worked out for a few minutes after the game and then came and did his scrum. But being in the locker room, you can see it. Sports, a game is black and white. You win or you lose. When you're outside the dressing room afterwards, a win, you can hear the music playing. You can hear the hooting. You can hear the cheers, the congratulations. Yesterday, it's quiet when you're waiting outside. You go in, it's somber. There's no music playing. The player's usually standing silently by his locker by his stall, waiting with his head down to do a scrum. There's no smiling. It's not a positive. It's not a happy place to be.
Well, nor should it be. What? Why are you laughing? It should. Like, what are you going to celebrate a loss?
And then another young man asked me, this was the third one, top 3 questions from students at Holy Trinity today. What was it like moving from Rexall Place to Rogers Place? Was it hard? I said, no, it wasn't hard because Rogers Place is way nicer. And I also said, and you and I have found this, we've done remotes together. I've done broadcasts in a bunch of different places. You can't really worry about it. You have to have your routine. You have to get set up, and then you have to be the same person you always are when you go on air. I can't worry about, my laptop used to plug into an extension cord and on the left, and now it plugs into the wall on the right. I guess I can't broadcast. You kind of just got to go in and adjust to it. But I thought that was a good question. All right, we got Matt Dunnigan coming up. We got a sports update with the Coob. It's the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
UFC lives at the Canadian Brew House with the most TVs, great food and drinks, and the perfect party atmosphere. There's no better way to experience UFC 309 on November 16th.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret, unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
This is your chance to win big with the Split the Pot Lottery. Support the Capital Care Foundation to help Alberta seniors get the care they deserve and support more healthcare foundations across the province. With a grand prize that grows with every ticket sold, the jackpot is hundreds of thousands and just keeps getting bigger. Visit splitthepot.ca and buy your tickets now. Don't forget to pick Capital Care Foundation as your foundation of choice. Lottery license number 698984.
The NHL has 6 games about to get underway, including the Flames and Bruins, the Canadiens meeting the Devils, and the Senators with the Islanders. Elsewhere, Elliot Friedman reports that Kilmacar is a game-time decision when the Avs meet the Jets, and Chris Knobloch this morning also lists Matthias Janmark as day-to-day. Staying in hockey, the NCAA has adopted a new rule to allow players to be involved in pro teams prior to their college enrollment. This means former CHL players will now be qualified for competition in the NCAA. And down south, Chuba Hubbard, Sherwood Park native, has signed a 4-year extension with the Carolina Panthers, having a guaranteed amount of $15 million. And Thursday Night Football has the Ravens and Bengals, where you can join Lieutenant Eric for the game at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for the action at 6:15. Basketball is a 3-game slate, including the Jazz tipping off with the Bucks, while Bronny James of the Lakers gets sent down to the G League after playing 4 games with the big club. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you in the loop.
Frozen cheesies. Thank you, glue guy. You beautiful man.
Well, it's just it's a beautiful thing going on in the freezer in the kitchen. Matthew Awanek brought in a box of Doritos, I think from leftovers or something from either tailgate or Halloween, and he's now launching them into the freezer. So there is bags and bags of Doritos in the freezer. I'm more of a Cheesies guy,
right?
So every morning I go in and this may be alarming if my children are listening right now, but when they get on the bus to go to school, I go into their Halloween bag and rifle through and try find the Cheesies, maybe the odd little Mars bar, Snickers, little snacky snack, and bring them in with me. So if you're wondering, that's where your Halloween candy's going.
That's where it's going. The Big Uke has written his daily limerick. The Oilers had every chance to win the game, but some of their guys played quite lame. A bull rider in studio, 10% off, who do you know? After being on the show, you'll get added fame. That's from the Big Uke. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We've had a good week this week.
Oh, yeah.
There's still one more day tomorrow.
Hermitage Jay comes in with a amazing story about his lifelong friendship. So he's driving 5 guys to Rundle Park to play a pickup game of football after hitting 7-Eleven for some big gulps.
Okay.
We were halfway there when this guy in the back seat started yelling, "Turn around!" I asked why, and he said, "We need to go back to 7-Eleven." Well, we were almost at one, but he insisted we needed to go back to the last one. I explained that there was no friggin' way I was going to go back to the one 10 minutes away when there's one right in front of us. But he continued to say he forgot to pay for his big gulp. I laughed and said, "Right on, free big gulp." But he yelled at me and said, "No, go back now." I was a little startled, but humored him, and we went back. I had to go into the 7-Eleven with him to see if it was for real, and sure enough, he went in to pay for his 99-cent super big gulp and apologized profusely so that the clerk wouldn't call the cops. I was 16 and he was 20. I couldn't believe anyone on earth would have that much integrity to do that, and it started a friendship that's lasted 32 years.
That's awesome. 89 cents, eh?
99 cents.
99 cents. That's a really good story.
Those were the days, eh? Big gulps for 99 cents.
What are they now?
They're probably like $3.99.
Really?
Probably.
The big gulp is the big barrel of pop, right?
Oh, yeah. I
What's
don't know.
the slush?
Yeah,
the
that's
slush
what I
puppy?
would say. Slurpee.
Oh, a Slurpee, right. Okay, so
that's good cheese.
Max has Frosters. 7-Eleven has Slurpees. Who has slush puppies?
Mom and pop shops.
Oh, those are separate things?
I think anybody can have a slush puppy.
Oh, it's not a brand?
I don't know. Is that not just like shaved ice with sugar
with
on
paint? Yeah. Zach, if we don't get him, we don't get him. We were hoping to connect with Matt Dunnigan. We may not get him right now, but that's okay. We can try to get him for another day if we don't get him now. I wrote a limerick. I spent the morning at Holy Trinity. Career Day stories. Yo diggity. Do I need to keep going?
Yes.
Interested kids did not hit the skids as Zip and I displayed creativity.
Nice. No diggity.
Yeah. Was it no diggity or I said yo diggity? Or is it no diggity? What's the phrase? Isn't there a song called
No Diggity?
Oh, it's no diggity. I thought it was yo diggity.
I like the way you work.
Yeah, that song, which is not
Reid,
my
you diggity
genre.
however you want to diggity. And
I'll
I'll diggity.
damn well diggity however I want. I'll diggity some teams out of Canada West is what I'll do.
Oh,
I've got a lot of goof ups today.
No. That's not a goof up.
I got the wrong song.
No.
Wrong diggity lyric.
So was there any discussion? Yesterday we talked about there was a teacher that was brought up on the show. Did anybody?
Oh, my goodness.
Did anybody bring
that was brought up. Now, I don't know how much of this I should do because, let's face it, kids joke with, needle, sometimes flat out make fun of their teachers.
Yeah.
And I think we've all had that teacher that goes along with it or encourages it or doesn't really care. But some teachers, as human beings are, might actually be sensitive about something and prefer to not be mocked about something, right?
Well, of course.
So yesterday we got a message from, I believe, a staff member at Holy Trinity saying that, are you going to talk to the kids about Mr. Scott's head and how big it is or something?
Yes.
So, and I did not meet Mr. Scott. I asked Zip about it. Zip said he's a bald guy working at our school. The kids today said Mr. Scott has a very big, bald, bright, beautiful head that apparently is discussed amongst the children. I'm
So
sure
we don't
Mr. Scott
know-
is aware of this. I'm not sure if he's in on the joke or even finds it to be a joke.
Okay, we need to get Mr. Scott on our show.
He may not want to come on after this display.
Well,
he may prefer not to.
Well, what if he's in on it? He's like, I've got it's got a big head.
Clement says, do you think any students from Holy Trinity are watching right now? Yes, I do.
Norman at Combine sent in a picture of a Big Gulp that he is currently enjoying. He said 99 cents, boys. That's amazing.
Where did he get that?
7-Eleven. But that you can... Now, that's a lot of pop. Do you drink pop?
Not a lot, no.
Me neither.
I have pop, but I could have a 2-liter of pop in the fridge for a week or longer. Like, I'll just pour a little bit. I'll almost have it like a dessert. I'll just pour a little bit in a glass and sip it, and then I won't have any more today. I haven't had a full can of pop in, I don't remember when. Probably not this calendar year. Probably not in 2024. Jode says, but Rexall Place had a soul. Rogers Place is a corporate, sterile, soulless venue. I'm sorry. I have to. Jodes, I'm sorry. Jodes knows when I apologize, I'm going to disagree. I disagree 100%. Rexall was a broken, dusty, old, dirty building. From my standpoint, there's no comparison. Now, I've only been to Rogers Place a couple of times as a customer, but I think it's got Rexall Place beat in every way. Location, comfort, newness. I don't know. Do I find it soulless? When I was covering the Stanley Cup playoffs last year, I didn't find it soulless at all. I thought there was a heck of a lot of soul in there. That's my view from Floor 8 and going to a couple of Def Leppard concerts there. I don't. I think Rexall Place had to go. I'm sorry. I think that's nostalgia. I don't think that's reality.
I think you're right. I think the nostalgia is being confused here. But when it originally happened, and the plan originally was to hey, we're gonna knock down this arena. I didn't get it because I was of the belief that there was really nothing wrong with the old Rexall Place. Now, seeing Rogers Place and the accessibility of it all, okay, I get it. Yeah, and it developed a lot of downtown, which was what you wouldn't just see right off the top when they say, hey, we're going to build a new arena downtown. Right. You don't really get the depth that carries out into the downtown community.
Right.
Like our dear Matthew Wannick and Tom Gazzola are reaping in the benefits of that. It's now where they live.
Yeah. Yeah, I think around the arena it helped for sure. I mean, I think downtown is spotty. Certainly the pandemic didn't help our downtown or a lot of downtowns. But Himu Tartakainen, that is a world-class handle. If I was still giving out canned ham shirts, Himu Tartakainen would get one for that handle. Only thing Rogers Place needs is more bathrooms. I have heard that. Yes. And I realize, Rob from the Grove, the beer prices from Rexall, if you know, you know. Yeah, I guess the beer prices are outrageous at Rogers Place.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like,
But they were getting high already at Rexall Place, weren't they?
But they like that to me is just egregious. I'm sorry. That's just ridiculous.
You should bring your own beer in.
Yeah, please let me. I haven't been to a game in a long time or any event there.
Well, and I always say I'm hesitant to criticize prices, things like that, because I don't go as a customer. But I do not find Rogers Place soulless. I think it's got a great atmosphere in there, and I can't. Like I just think it's more comfortable for fans, flat out. Looks newer, nicer, better spot. I realize parking is probably a challenge, but usually parking for any event that has 18,000 people there is going to be a challenge. So I don't know.
Reid, we were hoping to get Matt Dunnigan on, but we'll have to get him on again. One of the things we were going to discuss with him was ultimately, what's happening in Calgary tomorrow. There was an announcement made that there's a press conference tomorrow that Randy Ambrosi is going to be a part of, who is the commissioner of the CFL. The mayor of Calgary will be there. So by all accounts, this would lead one to believe, and Donnie, thanks for bringing that up in the EST inbox. It would lead you to believe that Calgary is going to be announced as the host of the Grey Cup in 2026.
Right.
Because that was up for debate, and that was what everybody in Edmonton that has a pulse and follows the Elks thought was going to be coming to Commonwealth.
Well, speaking of stadiums, is it not the consensus that McMahon Stadium is not a great stadium?
She's a dump.
And I'm okay. Yes, I was perhaps putting it quite politely.
No, I'll put my foot right in my mouth and say that is a dump.
It's probably. I think I went to the Labor Day game in '98 or something, or '97. I don't remember what year it was. It might have been '98. Was that the year Archer was here? I think so.
Yeah, it hasn't changed an ounce.
Yeah, wasn't good.
I mean that literally.
Right. And I guess you could say Commonwealth is old, but they've kept Commonwealth upgraded as much as they can. They've kept the seats. They've expanded some things.
Expanded it.
Right.
Calgary, McMahon Stadium, the concourse is as wide as this office. This way.
That's it. That's all you got.
Yeah, it's terrible. And our fearless leader, Dustin, who has to call games there. Now, I actually called a game there with Dustin way back in the day when we were calling Golden Bears football. The press box because normally press boxes would be center of the stadium, in between the lower bowl and the upper bowl. Well, there's no upper bowl there. So it's at the top of that. So you literally need binoculars every time you're trying to make out a number. But I guess was it just overconfidence that Edmontonians thought that this would be a shoo-in, given that, hey, new ownership, things are changing with the team, they're going to give it to, and I think common sense, because unless they're doing some major renovations and fast to McMahon Stadium, I don't see it. I mean, I know they can throw up temporary bleachers in the end zones, but I don't know.
Yeah, so it's Vancouver in next weekend, Winnipeg in 2025. McMahon had it in 2019. Edmonton had it in 2018. So it would be go back to Calgary before it came back to Edmonton. I was a little surprised. There have been, unless this is totally something else, but it's hard to imagine what else it would be.
Well, to have the commissioner there
and the mayor.
And the mayor.
That's the thing.
So, I mean, obviously we are just, assuming this. But like you said, it's. I think they're going to have that, and I don't get it. Why? Why McMahon? That's the thing. Like, this is supposed to be the pinnacle of the CFL year.
Yeah.
And it's going there where it's hard enough even to watch a game. And honestly,
unless there's some sort of stadium upgrade announced along with, I don't know. But I guess the timing is good because you still got a week before this year's game itself, so you're not taking away anything for this year's game. But you already have a venue 2 years down the road announced. I don't know. Maybe we were being a little arrogant as Edmontonians, thinking like, well, we got an owner.
We got a prez.
Matt says, wouldn't it go out east somewhere after BC this year and Winnipeg next? No, I don't think they really worry about that. I mean, if you go back to 2013, Regina, Vancouver, Winnipeg, Toronto, Ottawa, Edmonton, Calgary, Hamilton, Regina, Hamilton, Vancouver, Winnipeg. Hamilton got the second one because they hosted the COVID one that I think was only half full or whatever, and they didn't have the festival, so that's why. So they don't worry about let's go back and forth from coast to coast. I don't think they've worried about that in a while. I don't know if they ever worried about that really, but no, that's not going to. I mean, and they had it in Alberta 2 straight years in 18 and 19. So I don't think they'll worry too much. Good question, but I don't think that'll be a concern. Yeah, we'll have more on that tomorrow. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted one more person chimed in here on the there's actually been several, but this one I found interesting. Brent Pisklovich said, Rexall used to have soul in that it was loud in the building because of size and patrons who could afford to go. I used to work for the Oilers and saw behind the scenes at Rexall, especially at the end of its life. It was a dump and things constantly were falling apart.
I think that's a fair comment. I think there's a concern that a more corporate audience would be a quiet audience, but I've never found Rogers Place to be quiet if the team is performing.
Yeah.
It was a little quiet over the last 2 games. I mean, when you're only scoring 2 goals in 2 games, and there's a little more tension because the team can't get it together. I think that's a good summary. You know, it was a less corporate crowd when they were winning the cups, but I agree it was falling apart and not being attended to late in its life. I told you the macaroni story, right?
No.
So one year I was doing the games. So it was one of the first 3 years I was doing the games. I had to get a gum graft. So they take some gum flesh off the top of your mouth and sew it where your gums are receding. And so as a result, I had to eat soft food for like 3 or 4 weeks. So I would take like macaroni in a thermos and eat it for my snack, you know, in between the face-off show and the game. And then, and we were in that booth on ice level at Rexall Place, you know, the fishbowl people called it, because you could see me, Bob, or Rob, or whoever working in there. And several weeks later, Bob says to me, we're getting ready to go on air. He's like, "Did you have macaroni today?" I said, "No." I said, "I had some like macaroni about a month ago." And he's like, points to the floor, and there was like a chunk of 3 macaroni kind of glomped together still on the floor. So I guess I inadvertently had spilled some several weeks prior and just not cleaned. It never just got swept up or cleaned in there.
Oh, jeez.
So I ate the macaroni, obviously.
Duck Dad is right. We are 16 thumbs up away from 100. Let's get
us to 100 by 5 o'clock, please. Call your former high school teacher. Get some thumbs up if you got a zip in your life. Call your grandma. Get us to the thumbs up by 6 o'clock. Portions of this hour presented by the Canadian Brew House. NHL lives at the Canadian Brew House. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankers of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. You can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. We got the oil understood. We got the afternoon debate, and we still have the keyword for the flyaway to LA. It's Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Right now, it's the Flames and Bruins tied at 1 apiece, while the Devils lead the Canadiens 1-0. The Sens and Islanders are tied at 0 as the Hurricanes with the only goal in their game against the Penguins. And the Sabres up 1-0 over the Rangers, while Florida has 2 up on the scoreless Preds with all those games early in the first. Later, it's the Flyers with Matvei Michkov as a healthy scratch, while they meet the Lightning and the Avs, having Cale Makar as a game-time decision when they play the Jets. The NCAA has adopted a new rule allowing players coming from the CHL to be a part of their program. Prior to the rule change, any player who took the ice in the CHL before college enrollment was ineligible for participation in the NCAA. And Thursday Night Football has the Ravens kicking off against the Bengals with Lieutenant Eric down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road for that one. And the NBA sees a 3-game schedule with the Spurs tipping off against the Trailblazers, while the Lakers reassigned Bronny James to the G League after he played 4 games with LA. This sports update has been brought to you by Wheelers RV and Boat Storage. Conveniently located 8 minutes west of St. Albert, Wheelers RV is your safe and secure place to store your RV, boat, or whatever it is you want to store. Visit them at WheelersRVStorage.com to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get 1 free. Go to WheelersRVStorage.com today and get your storage needs taken care of. And after a quick timeout, we get into the afternoon debate presented by the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Golf and Country Club. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for two, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Keep your network alive, contacting people to give us a thumbs up on YouTube. We are almost at 100. We want to get there. Well, we want to get well over there by the time the show ends at 6 o'clock. We're back tomorrow from 3 to 6. Programming on the weekend for Edmonton Sports Talk, 7 o'clock on Saturday night. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show leading into the Oilers and the Canucks, and then Terman Hernan will join you after that game as well. As we hop into the Oil Understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a proud partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
I love the dramatic pause.
So the Oilers practiced today. Matthias Janmark was not on the ice. Head coach Chris Knobloch saying he is day-to-day. The Oilers will travel tomorrow, have a morning skate, and the game on Saturday in Vancouver. So we've had a lot of discussion about what ails the team. They're at 6-7-1. I think a couple games, it looked like they were starting to put things together, to be fair, against Nashville and Calgary. And then we kind of go back to some of the negative things we've been seeing earlier in the season. Great analysis from Luke Gazdic on earlier today that they're just not playing with some, what's one of the words he used? Not enough detail, just not enough, I can't remember how he put it, but just not doing some very basic things you need to do to be successful in the National Hockey League. Chris Knobloch, the head coach of the team, who generally, well, I wouldn't say generally, would you say always has been very, very calm when speaking about his team? Even when he's critical, he's kind of careful and doesn't rip anybody, I guess is how you might put it. He was asked today, all right, Chris, so, how close are you guys to playing how you need to play to bank more points?
We're about 10 minutes away from winning a 2-1 game. If we win against one of the highest scoring teams, one of the top teams, Vegas, second highest scoring team, one of the best teams in the league right now, we win that 2-1. We're happy with what an effort we put in. And we make some very costly mistakes in the last 10 minutes. Take a penalty, give up a shorthanded goal, a couple gaffes late in the game, and now we're totally flipped the switch on. It's a brutal performance. So we have to be careful on how we assess what was good and what was bad. Up until the first 50 minutes, we're very happy, and if that game would have ended then. But then the last 10 minutes, we're we're not very happy.
I'm curious what you think there, Jay. And I know even since he started and they were doing well and won all those games with him last year, there were some people who didn't like that demeanor. I would say most people prefer a calm coach, but we always get where's the emotion? I want to hear him yell. We don't know how he acts behind the scenes, first of all. I've seen him run practices. He can get a little more intense and a little louder when he does things like that. So he makes the point, we were 10 minutes away from everybody thinking what a great gritty win, and now everybody's acting like it's a disaster because we couldn't finish the game. I get that point. I'm wondering, though, if that's really what fans want to hear at this point.
Well, no, I don't think fans do want to hear that because why are you, the head coach of the Oilers, talking to media or talking about media, the response by media or fans in that type of light? I thought it was, hearing that for the first time, I thought that was arrogant and a bit cheeky, to be honest. Because how are you to say how you or I or Zach or anybody listening can react? Because up until that point, everybody would have said, this is a great win. This is a gritty win. And then the script got flipped. And now, it's an awful win. Or it's an awful loss. They suck. Boo, Oilers. Why do you care? Why are you meddling in those waters? Worry about what's in the locker room. That's what I would say. Because I don't like that. That shows me where your focus is, and it's not in the right place.
Okay, so if you were asked, or when he's asked, how close are you to putting it together, what would you have preferred to hear?
Next question.
Really? You would have been fine with him doing nothing?
I say that in jest.
Nothing? Okay.
I honestly would say, look, we're working at it. We did some good things, but obviously our focus wasn't there to finish the job. Got complacent, got distracted. Yes, we took a bad penalty at the game, which ultimately cost us, and then the momentum switched. We've got to learn how to get out of that complacency stage or state.
So what he said was not far off from your ultimate answer. It's in the same ballpark.
I think. I just don't like the almost the belief that, had they won that 2-1, would we be sitting here and saying, that was a gritty win? But no, because this is not a us reaction. This is not a you reaction or all the fans in the nasty chat. That's a reaction to the game that was played that you coach. So I don't really appreciate that point of view. As a fan, if you were to listen to that and say, well, why does he care what we think or how we perceive this team?
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't be of any concern to him.
Yeah, I think that he probably doesn't want to rip his team publicly. We don't know what he says behind the scenes. I mean, he may be going in there and saying, look, guys, there are problems here. Who's going to step up and help fix them? I mean, I thought that was great what Luke Gazdic said earlier, that Mac T skated up to him and just started the conversation by saying, you were awful last night.
Yeah.
Maybe he's having those conversations with his players. I do think, and look, everybody, I might be in a minority just because I've spent a lot of time interviewing coaches and players, not just with the Oilers, but most of my adult life now, I guess. I do respect that coaches have to be careful with what they say publicly and how they get a message to the players. Like Rob always used to say, a coach shouldn't rip a player in the media because a player can't rip a coach. So a coach can maybe be critical or talk facts and say, Rob Brown's on our second line and he has 0 goals. We need him to score. Rob said as a player he could accept that. But he wouldn't accept Rob is making a bunch of mistakes and I've talked to him and he's not getting the message and I wonder why he's not working ahead and working harder. Like Rob would say, I couldn't go on a post game and say, I don't know why a coach didn't call a timeout. I don't know why he has us playing a 1-2 check. So he would. That's how he would say why coaches should still be careful and save most of the criticism for behind the scenes, the overt criticism.
But he just called out Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in that clip.
Yeah, well, fair,
right? Without saying his name, he did. I mean, that's just plain as day. He said that was a bad penalty. put us in a bad position. I'm all for that. I think there should be more accountability. Because why are you babying something that obviously does not respect that way or that method? It's not working. It hasn't been working.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I guess the only thing I would say is, and I appreciate he's been positive, and quite frankly, I've been quite positive most of the time. I still think the power play is going to score. I don't think Nuge is going to finish the season with 1 goal, but I recognize that there are some issues that keep popping up with this team. I guess my thing would be it's fine for him to say, well, we're close. Remember, maybe we weren't that bad, but you're still not winning. You've lost more than you have won. If they would have lost that game, so what have they played? 14 games? If they would have lost that game in that fashion last night to drop to 9-5 or 9-4-1, okay, yeah. As I've always said, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you try hard and lose. Sometimes you do make a mistake. But it's the repetition of the concentration lapses, as I've been calling them, that is concerning. Now, does he want to talk about them overly publicly? Does he want to kind of insist that, nothing too much to see here, we'll figure it out? Okay, I get it, but I think patience and leeway does wear a little thin after a while for the people observing the team.
100%. You can't keep, preaching the same message. Well, we just didn't get it done. This hurt us this late in the period here, but we're working on it. At what point does, that's like we were talking about it today on Two Guys. What point does a coach that screams and yells at you all the time, at what point do you just tune that out?
And that's another risk too, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Leon Draisaitl asked about the team's defensive miscues today.
I think it's just little mistakes that are happening. I don't think we have been given up a crazy amount of looks. It's just the timing we do, and when we do, they're usually in the back of the net. So, just got to fix it.
I think, like I said, I would agree that in some circumstances it is little mistakes, but you can't make 4 or 5 little mistakes on the same sequence. There are mistakes all over the ice by both teams. if you watch a game really closely, and if you watch a game, as I often say, if you don't care who wins, that guy, he didn't quite get the puck out. That pass was a little. It happens. It happens there. But for the Oilers, it's Bouchard misreads this, Skinner misreads this, Ekholm's at slightly the wrong angle, Skinner doesn't make the save, it's in the net. And that all happens in 4 seconds. One of those mistakes, then it doesn't even get to Skinner having to worry about making that save. I want to bring up something Zach Hyman said. Hyman was asked if they draw enough penalties. Coob?
Do you think you're doing enough to draw penalties to get yourself enough chances here?
No, I think that goes with being hard to play against just on all facets of our game, right? I think if you're hard to play against in the O-zone, you're holding on to the puck. I think we do a much better job of holding on to the puck. If you're tired in your D-zone, you're more likely to take a penalty. I don't think we've done that enough with other teams with regards to holding on to it and wearing them down and then forcing them to draw a penalty. So we can do a better job of that.
Power play opportunities per game, the Oilers are second last. 2.5 per game. St. Louis is at 2.38. So not only are the Oilers aren't scoring on the power play, they aren't getting on the power play. So even if they had the same percentage, if they had 10 more power play opportunities, they'd probably have a couple more goals. So that's hurting them as well. And it seems to me there haven't been a lot of penalties called. And this isn't a criticism of the refs. I just feel like there haven't been a lot of penalties called this year. So if there's only 4 penalties in a game, or what was there, 3 last night, and the Oilers kill off one and allow a goal and can't score on theirs, that's a big reason why you're lost. But I think that's another thing, Jay, about the lack of detail, the lack of execution, maybe this lack of concentration or intensity. You don't draw a penalty if you're not fighting hard for the puck. You don't draw a penalty if you're not forechecking for 40 seconds. You don't draw a penalty if you don't have people crashing the net, because you're making it a little easier on the other team to defend. And I think Hyman touched on that. I mean, he flat out said, no, we're not doing enough to draw penalties and get on the power play. So that's, to me, yet another concern about this team.
That's a great point. And such a great stat to pull that they're second last in penalties drawn, game over game.
Yeah.
a team that draws penalty is a team that is beating you to pucks in causing you to cheat or try to cheat to eliminate the ability for them to take the puck from you or to beat you down the ice or to beat you in a one-on-one battle. So that is a great find. And obviously, as Hyman alluded to, that is something, it's just, this is another thing. This is another layer to the absurdity of what we're seeing and how it doesn't add up. This is a team that normally, and hey, that's, you could easily say this, is teams are extra aware of, what used to be or last year was a lethal power play. So they are going into these games saying, hey, stay out of the box, keep your feet moving, taking that extra step to eliminate the potential of a power play.
Yeah. So a lot of things adding up to the struggles here for the Oilers so far this season. It is time to give you the keyword for the EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780, a homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780, both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or any of the other 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport. All right, so you're trying to win a trip here from Boxing Day until December 30th. You can see an NBA game, an NFL game, and an NHL game featuring Edmonton. You get a flight for 2 to Los Angeles with hotel and rental car. We will pick a qualifier for the grand prize from among the people who text in the word starter to 780-218-9999. The keyword is starter. We're back with the afternoon debate on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Right now, it's the Penguins down 2-0 against the Hurricanes. The Sabres with the only goal in their game against the Rangers. The Flames and Bruins are tied at 1 apiece, and the Predators trail the Panthers 2-0. We also got a scoreless game between the Sens and Islanders, while the Devils are up 2-0 over the Canadiens. And in just a moment, the Flyers get underway against the Lightning without Matvei Michkov, as he is listed as a healthy scratch. And starting in August 2025, CHL players will be eligible to participate in the NCAA. Before the implementation of this rule, anyone who played in the CHL would be disqualified from competing at the NCAA level. In the NFL, the Carolina Panthers have extended Sherwood Park native Chuba Hubbard to a 4-year deal with a guaranteed amount of $15 million. And it's the Bengals and Ravens tonight, kicking off at 6:15, where you could join Lieutenant Eric at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for that one. And we got 3 games in the NBA, including the Spurs, tipping off with the Trailblazers. Right after a brief intermission, we continue the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf. Oh, sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
He's working up my appetite, looking forward to a little afternoon
debate.
Rubbing sticks and stones together make the sparks ignite, and the thought of loving you is getting so exciting. Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon
debate.
Afternoon
debate.
Wow. Time for my all-time favorite segment, our weekly afternoon debate presented by Edmonton Garrison Curling Club. If you and your team are looking for a fun and exciting way to build some chemistry, look no further than the Edmonton Garrison Memorial Curling Club. Located on CFB Edmonton, the Garrison Curling Club offers 6 sheets of ice, a full-service bar with kitchen, and includes all equipment needed for corporate bonspiels. The Garrison Curling Club is run by Nasties. As an added bonus, they will offer 10% off ice rentals to all EST listeners. Email curling@egmgolf.com. Mention EST to book your corporate bonspiel today. By the way, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. We are at... Bit of a we're at 99. Be 100. Take the initiative. Be number 100 to get us over the top. We'd appreciate that. All right. Sorry, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm having Poppy issues today.
I've been see, Poppy's off again. I feel like I just want to prick this into my head so that at least I know where it is.
Right. That'd be painful, though. You could tape it, I guess.
I'll take it.
You could get a hat and put it in the hat.
Yeah, some people do that. I don't know if you want to wear a hat on air, though.
Well, it's because this had the headphone things, you know.
Oops. What's going on now?
We did it.
We got over 100. Thumbs up. A little closer than I like today, but the Nasties came through us. All right. Who do we have as the qualifier?
Savage the Plumber.
Savage the Plumber. Sav, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can I call you Sav?
Of course you can.
Did you know the drummer, or not the drummer, the bass player in Def Leppard is Rick Savage, and they call him Sav?
I wonder if that's my long-lost father.
It probably is. There's your useless information for the day. How's your day been?
It's been a hectic one. Work and children and everything. It's been hectic.
Well, you know, it with the children, you know, children grew up and they meet their best friends, and that's what our off-topic topic was. How did you meet your best friend in the world?
Ball hockey.
Ball hockey. Okay. Well, see, sports is a good good, you know, bonding for friends. You are now qualified for the trip.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Would you be most excited for the Clippers Warriors, the Rams Cardinals, or an NHL game?
Well, I am a diehard Rams fan, and I've never seen the Rams play. And I met Renee last year trying to win the Rams trip last year. Yes. So I really want to win the trip this year so that I can take Renee with me.
Okay.
Amazing.
Well, we wish you and Renee good luck. Make sure you were listening November 29th during the morning show, the Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, for your chance to win that trip. Good luck.
Of course. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.
Savage the Plumber qualifying for the EST Flyway to LA presented by the 780. Savage, very upbeat. Good to talk to him.
Lovely, man.
Do you know him?
I'm pretty sure that's I think that's Renee's boyfriend.
Okay.
Renee from Century Casino.
Oh, okay. That's the connection.
And he, if I'm not mistaken, it was he that won a massive parlay.
Oh, nice.
Through the Cool Bet.
Okay.
It was an exclusive, and he nailed it for Pretty significant amount of dough.
Oh, nice. Okay. Good stuff.
Yeah, brilliant. Lovely guy.
We're less than, we're giving that away in, what's 29 minus 7? 3 weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow, it's coming up. We won't be
22
qualifying
days
many
away.
more people. That's exciting stuff. Okay, what is the afternoon debate topic today, Jay, my friend?
Well, let's just clear the air on the afternoon debate. I do not think I can properly debate Reid on on a weekly basis. I think you would kick my butt.
I'm not so sure about that.
I'd rather just have a wholesome debate and include you, the listener. We are going to debate today because we want to have your help with this as we finish the show and head into a fantastic Friday. We want to know and we want to have a firm list here.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. What are the top 3 condiments? Top 3 condiments. Now, we are not including salt or pepper.
Okay.
Think of it as in what would be on a burger, what you would dip something in, that kind of,
But it's not pickles and onions and tomatoes. It's wetter, saucier stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
You would consider pickles a condiment?
No, I was just clarifying.
Okay.
I'm just clarifying. That's something else.
Okay.
What do you call that on your burger?
Topping.
A topping. Okay.
I think maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right because a condiment is on Wikipedia, a preparation that is added to food, typically after cooking, to impart a specific flavor, to enhance the flavor, or to complement a dish.
See, I just got to say that I don't know if bias is the right term here, but I think there's only one number one condiment, and this is just me, and that is mayonnaise.
I have mayo on my list.
Mayonnaise is number one for me.
Because you can put it on almost anything.
You can put it on anything.
You can make other things out of it.
Exactly.
Right.
It's versatile. You add some hot sauce to that. You got a little, what do they call it? Like, I don't know. You could dip sweet potato fries into it, right?
Oh, right. Stuff like that, yes.
You can add it to a tuna salad sandwich. It's the binder.
Right.
There's just so many layers to mayonnaise that I think mayo should be 1-1 on my list. I mean, we can come up with this, but Brother Morg says there's a couple people that are suggesting banana peppers, but I don't think that is a condiment.
Yeah, I think these have to be sort of a saucy, liquidy type of thing. That's the type of condiment we're looking for. Because when you first said it, I was thinking, tomato slices or whatever. The dictionary definition is a substance such as salt or ketchup that is used to add flavor to food, but we're not doing that exactly. So,
okay, is ketchup on your list?
No,
I
don't have ketchup in my top 3.
Okay,
I have mayo.
Okay, ketchup would be in my top 3.
Okay, again, very versatile.
Because if you mix ketchup and mayo, it's a glorious combination.
Yeah, that's true.
Third, I'm torn between ranch and Frank's hot sauce. That's where I'm at.
Oh, no.
Okay, what else is on yours?
Dijon mustard and horseradish sauce.
Wow, that's specific.
Yeah, well, it's got to have some kick to it, right? So you got mayo. I like having a little bit kick to it. So if you're adding some Dijon, you're going for a little more flavor and a little more kick. And then if you're going for horseradish sauce, you're really going for it. You can use horseradish sausage with beef. You can mix it with sour cream and lemon to make some like a sauce that you will put over, for example, beets or something like that. Horseradish is just good. It's a good tasting sauce. I think it's way more interesting than ketchup or barbecue sauce or even ranch or hot sauce. I'm not adverse to those, but for the afternoon debate, I would identify the best condiments as mayo, Dijon mustard, and horseradish sauce.
You got to have a hot sauce on there. No?
No, I don't. I don't want to be burned out. I want flavor. And you can get some kick from the horseradish.
Yeah, I guess horseradish is hot.
Right.
I just couldn't live without Frank's hot sauce. Now, specifically the buffalo flavor.
And do you cut that with anything? Does it get mixed with anything?
I mix it with my mayonnaise, dog.
Okay, right.
You get spicy mayo.
But see, then that's really mayo that's the star of the attraction.
No, it's
the
not.
star of the attraction
No,
is
it's
the
not.
star of attraction.
No way, Jose. Coob, what do you got? What's your number one?
Honey mustard.
Okay.
Straight up honey mustard. I could put it if I'm in a pinch, could put it in salad. You could put it on a sandwich. I would have went with salt or something, but I don't think that's a condiment either. I never go after those
Honey
Urban
mustard?
Dictionary. Salt.
Salt.
That was going to be my number one, but it's not a condiment. It's not a condiment. I always think sauces too.
Dr. Nutsy Dielson says, hold on. Did you say on beets?
Yeah, I got to tell you guys, if you if this sounds at all interesting to you, you got to try this, because I was not optimistic when I tried this, but I think I got it at a restaurant, and now I'll make it at home. I'll make it with mom for family meals and stuff, or special occasions. So you basically boil the beets for I think around half an hour or so. I think there's other ways you can prepare them, and then you make a horseradish sauce with horseradish and sour cream, salt, pepper, and lemon, and put that over the beets. It is delicious. And if you have someone in your life that hates beets, then you got to say you haven't had beets this way.
Wow.
Absolutely. And that's why I would put horseradish sauce on this list. That's hard to say over and over again.
Horseradish
sauce. Yes.
Yeah, it is hard.
It is excellent, and it's great with beets. And beets this way are really, really good. Maybe they're not a popular vegetable for people.
I love beets.
Try them with this sauce, man.
My mother-in-law
I'm
just
telling
pickled
you, very good,
a
very
whole garden's
tasty.
worth of beets today. Okay, so are we in agreement that mayonnaise must make the list?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'll give you Dijon mustard. I love it. Now, is this a grainy Dijon?
Normal
Dijon.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Not the little pebbles.
No? Okay.
Dr. Nusty Dielson says, big fan of beets. I'll give it a try. Yes. I've once again made a positive impact on the nasty community. Oh, by the way, I showed the kids at school today. I didn't show it in every session. I showed them what was I? Smash?
Yeah.
I showed the unveiling from the Nasty Bash, and then when I took questions after, one of the kids said, so how many other times have you dressed up as a mascot? I was like, that's it, and that'll hopefully be the only time it happens. Thank you, Dr. Nusty Dielson. Cooking with Reid could happen. We could make this a little cooking set.
Oh, I'd love to do that. We could just cook something and have it on simmer throughout the show.
Yeah.
And then just bring in... Actually, Maddie's got like a
hot plate.
That thing exactly you guys use for the tailgate.
I didn't even know how to start this thing. I forget the name of but yeah, it is like a sort of little hot plate. We just had it holding up the chili to heat it up. He could definitely bring that in. But it is propane.
I think the afternoon... Well, Jay has a bunch of propane just lying around, sitting around in tanks.
But inside.
What?
Why not?
How'd you know?
I think from the Nasty Chat, mayo is the winner of the afternoon debate, if we only had to pick one.
So are we just going down the middle, mayo, mustard, and ketchup?
It might just be the old standards, the old boring ones, the ones that are everywhere.
Hey, sometimes simplicity is best, right?
We have been in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Check him out, jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. Is somebody here?
Nope.
Did you wave? I thought you waved to somebody.
Nope.
Oh, no, I didn't, Reid. No one is here to take you away. Time for goof-ups. I didn't know the lyrics to Yo Diggity or No Diggity. I incorrectly identified which of Zip's organs had been transplanted. If you missed the show earlier, don't worry. It made sense at the time. It was his a kidney, not his liver. Can you get a liver transplant? Sure you can.
I think they're harder. Well, it might be harder.
And I said I didn't listen to Two Guys and a Goalie because I was driving. And Jay was in the commercial was like, "What are you talking about? You know you can stream it, Reid." I know I can stream it. I listened to the station in the car. When I was driving from Holy Trinity to here, I was on the phone almost the entire time. I was talking to Luke Gazdic. I was talking to my parents a little bit. So it wasn't that I was choosing not to listen to the station because I'm too incompetent to stream in my car.
You've totally redeemed yourself.
And before, I guess heading into this hour, I ended the sports update saying the afternoon debate is coming up, but it wasn't until now. So 45 minutes too early.
But you still teased something that was in the future of the show.
I guess I did sprinkle it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I said after the break.
I referred to it as steer wrestling, not steer riding.
Well,
That was good.
steer wrestling is a common event,
sport.
but
It's
yeah,
an event.
he as a younger guy, he did steer riding. Les says, in a story I'm writing, a character is a saucivore. Their diet is condiments and sauces. I want to read that completed story, Les.
Could be our first screenplay.
That could be a screenplay we have to develop. Absolutely. All right. Fun show, everybody. Good Oilers discussion. We had a bull rider in studio. That was awesome stuff. We had Luke Gazdic on the show. We had a lot of Oilers chat as we're trying to help them solve their problems. I don't know if they're listening or not. Thanks to Zach Kubish, our studio producer and our sports update deliverer. He's glue guy. Thanks to everybody at Holy Trinity for having me this morning for Career Day. I'm Reid. Take care.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.